the Madu People's Hospital. Wait for me, I'll be there soon, Su Luo said and hung up the phone. Zhu Jai completed the hospitalization procedures, transferred Tang Jiru to the ward, and sent the ward number to Su Luo. Sister Ru is in the hospital. I'm going to go see her. I think Brother Jai is about to collapse, Su Luo said to Yi Zayaramu after hanging up the phone. Yeah, okay, Yi Zayaramu nodded. She actually wanted to go, but her family would not let her go out until she was out of confinement. Okay, I'll be back soon, Su Luo said and walked out of the bedroom. Mom, Auntie, please take care of Zayaramu. I have a friend in the hospital. I'm going to see her and will be back soon. When they got downstairs, Su Luo said to Sun Yun and Yi Shuyan. Okay, come back early, Sun Yun reminded. Okay, Su Luo said, opened the door and walked out. At this time, Lu Yishan's face was full of pride. Looking at the overwhelming negative information about Zhu Jai on the internet, he sighed in his heart that the 5 million was really worth it. Mr. Lu, Mao Menqian's popularity has increased a lot this time. What do you think? Hu Luanxiu asked tentatively. Only when there is popularity can you make money, and the necessary resources should still be provided. Lu Yishan did not hesitate. Without Zhu Jai, he still had to find a way to push others out. Then her agent, Hu Luanxiu asked with a smile. You, that's enough. Lu Yishan looked at Hu Luanxiu's wretched appearance and felt a little bored. This guy is a cruel man. He treats his own artists too cruelly. This kind of person cannot be reused. Xiaoxu, who was standing aside, rolled her eyes and looked at Hu Luanxiu with disdain. Mr. Lu, she doesn't agree with me being her agent, Hu Luanxiu said. Xiaoxu, go talk to Mao Menqian and ask her to arrange an agent for him, Lu Yishan said to the secretary. Okay, Mr. Lu, Xiaoxu said, turned around and left Lu Yishan's office. Mr. Lu, I'll leave first, Hu Luanxiu said and left the office. Lu Yishan sat in the office chair, staring at the computer with a slightly concentrated look. The computer displayed Su Luo, shareholder of Zayaamu Entertainment. Previously, because of the Come On trainee incident, she was cheated by Zayaamu Entertainment. This time, Su Luo was involved in Zhu Jai's matter. Lu Yishan stared at the information on the computer with a changeable look in his eyes. Then, he took out a pack of cigarettes, lit it, and took a puff. Help me check what Zayaamu Entertainment is doing recently. Lu Yishan picked up the phone, made a call, and spoke in a low voice. Okay, still the same price. A pointed voice came from the other end of the phone. Okay, no problem, but I need it to be quick. It would be best if I can find it today. Lu Yishan took a puff of cigarette and said lightly. Yes, but you have to pay extra. Don't worry, you will get the money. I'll wait for your call, Lu Yishan said and hung up the phone. On the other side, Su Luo parked the car in the parking lot of Madu People's Hospital, put on a mask, and got out of the car. Chapter 269. Zhu Jai officially announced his withdrawal from the entertainment industry. Following the address sent by Zhu Jai, Su Luo walked to the obstetrics and gynecology department. Knock, knock. Su Luo knocked on the door of the ward. Zio Luo, you're here. Zhu Jai opened the door and found it was Su Luo. He greeted her. Brother Jai, Su Luo called out, then walked in with Zhu Jai. Sister Ru. Su Luo placed the fruit basket in her hand beside the bed. Zio Luo, thank you for your help. Tang Jiru looked much better than before and said in a low voice. It's okay, it's just that Zayaramu is not convenient to come out, otherwise she would come too. Su Luo waved her hand and said with a smile. Zio Luo, sit down. Zhu Jai came over with a chair. The three of them exchanged greetings, and Su Luo winked at Zhu Jai. Sister Ru, you have to control your emotions and don't think too much. It's actually not a big deal. Su Luo then gave Tang Jiru some instructions. Yes, I will, Tang Jiru nodded. Okay, Sister Ru, I'll leave first. Su Luo stood up and walked out. Jai Ru, I'll go see him off. Zhu Jai received Su Luo's gaze, stood up and said to Tang Jai Ru. The two walked outside and reached the stairwell. Su Luo handed a cigarette to Zhu Jai. Brother Jai, what are your plans in this situation? Su Luo lit a cigarette, took a puff, and then asked. There really isn't a good solution to this situation. After all, no one will believe what you say. Zhu Jai sighed and said helplessly that this time the public opinion was obviously strong, and he had no power to resist. To be honest, your case is not very easy to resolve. Resolving public opinion through clarification alone is useless. Su Luo blew out smoke rings from her mouth and spoke with a serious expression. I understand, so I'm not going to clarify anymore. I was originally planning to quit the entertainment industry, but given the current situation, it wouldn't be very glorious to quit. Zhu Jai took a deep puff of his cigarette and spoke in a low voice. Right now, I don't have the energy to pay attention to anything else. Jiru's condition is still quite critical. I will stay with her until the baby is born. Listening to Zhu Jai's words, Su Luo nodded silently and said nothing more. This kind of thing is not something he can help with just because he wants to. He still needs Zhu Jai's cooperation, but he obviously doesn't have the energy to do so now. Okay, Brother Jai, feel free to call me if you need anything. Su Luo nodded and spoke. Okay, don't worry, I won't be polite if you need me. Zhu Jai patted Su Luo's shoulder and said gratefully. Brother Jai, I'll go back first, Su Luo said as she put out her cigarette. Okay, Zhu Jai nodded, put out his cigarette and walked towards the ward. Su Luo looked at Zhu Jai's slightly hunched figure, sighed, turned and walked into the elevator. Honey, how is Sister Ru? Yi Zaiamu, who had just returned home and was eating downstairs, asked. The situation is not bad, but I need to be hospitalized in advance to take care of the fetus. These people who spread rumors are so bad. Yi Zaiamu pouted and said dissatisfiedly. Why are you the only one eating? Su Luo filled a bowl of rice, sat opposite Yi Zaiamu and asked. Mom, my aunt and I are upstairs accompanying Xiao, Yi Zaiamu said with a smile. Okay. Su Luo nodded and picked up a piece of fish and put it into Yi Zaiamu's bowl. You eat too, eat more. Yi Zaiamu narrowed his eyes and picked up a piece of braised pork and put it into Su Luo's bowl. The two of them were chatting and enjoying the meal. Mom, Aunt, go and have dinner. Yi Zaiamu and Su Luo returned to the bedroom, walked into the room and said to the two of them. Okay. Sun Yun, who was teasing the little one, nodded with a smile on his face. Aunt, wait a moment. When the two of them walked out of the bedroom, Yi Shuyan was stopped by Su Luo. Mom, you go down first. I want to talk to my aunt. Su Luo saw that Sun Yun also stopped and spoke. Okay, although Sun Yun was confused, she still agreed. She was not that curious. Zairo Luo, what's wrong? Yi Shuyan was a little confused. Even if it was about finding a job, it wouldn't be so fast. Aunt, I found a job for you and would like to ask for your opinion, Su Luo said with a smile. So fast, Yi Shuyan was a little surprised. It's okay, it's just my friend who helped me, Su Luo said modestly. There's a BBD flagship store on the north side of the Bund. They sell it there. Take a look and see if you want to give it a try. Su Luo directly stated her job description. Sales, selling cars. I've never sold a car before, will this work? Yi Shuyan asked unconfidently. Yi Shuyan's low level of education is simply because she didn't finish college, not because she has poor learning ability. This is why Su Luo asked her to start by selling cars. If you are directly assigned to a management position at the headquarters, you really won't be able to learn anything. You may even be easily deceived by the people below you because you know nothing. In a sales position, you can learn little by little, including interpersonal relationships, management models, performance commissions, and so on. If you want to move into a management position or some easy job in the future, you won't be completely clueless. What's wrong with that? It's just sales, someone will guide you, Su Luo replied with a smile. Okay, let's try it. Yi Shuyan nodded after hearing this. Okay, Auntie, someone will call you in the next few days, and you can just go over there then. Good. Then you go and eat, Auntie. I'll go take care of Xiao, Su Luo said and walked into the bedroom. Then I saw Yi Zaiamu clumsily changing Xiao's diaper. Wife, let me do it. Su Luo walked over and said. No, I can do it myself. I can't do it without learning anything. Otherwise, if you are not at home, I won't be able to change it. Yi Zaiamu immediately stopped Su Luo and stopped him from doing it. Okay, then I'll continue typing, Su Luo said with a smile. Okay, Yi Zaiamu said without raising her head. Her whole attention was on changing diapers. Su Luo shook her head and walked to the computer on the windowsill. He reached out to the keyboard and typed slowly. I saw a few words slowly appearing on the document on the laptop screen. The death of old Huang. Just as Su Luo was typing, Zhu Jai saw that Tang Jiru had fallen asleep after lunch. He took out his phone, opened Weibo, and ignored the increasing number of private messages. Zhu Jai, today, at this moment, I hereby announce that I will be retiring from the entertainment industry for an indefinite period and will never return. He hesitated for a long time and originally wanted to say something, but in the end, he felt that there was no point in saying it. Those who don't want to believe it will still not believe it, and it will only add to the joke. Chapter 270, Yi Tian's Cultural Plan. Brother Jai, please don't do that. We all know what kind of person you are. Please don't quit the entertainment industry. Will we no longer be able to see Brother Jai's works in the future? Is the person above stupid? It's not like they've been banned. Their previous works are still worth watching, but they won't be making new ones. This scumbag has finally quit the entertainment industry. It's good to quit, you should quit. There are fans who are reluctant to let go, and there are also black fans who continue to stir up trouble. But at this moment, there is no response at all. Gradually, the haters also found it a bit boring and stopped commenting. Brother Jai, how could you quit the entertainment industry? Zhang Rongyang asked in disbelief. Zhao Zhang, I had always planned to quit the entertainment industry. Zhu Jai held the phone and said with a smile that after he posted on Weibo about his retirement, the phone never stopped ringing. Even Zhou Yang just called to say hello. But this is the case. They framed you. Zhang Rongyang said somewhat unconvinced. That's how the world works. They don't need the truth. You'll understand later. I'm sorry for getting you into trouble this time. Zhu Jai's face didn't look very good, and there was a hint of shame in his voice. Brother Jai, don't say that. There's no such thing as getting involved or not. Zhang Rongyang quickly retorted that he was an artist of Weilio Entertainment and had the support of a large company, and that there would be people to handle the public relations for this bit of public opinion afterwards. Although he had lip piercings in the past and his influence as a bad boy was exposed, he did not do anything immoral. This impact does not have much impact on him as an actor. At most, he will lose some endorsements. Zhao Zhang, act well, Zhu Jai reminded. Brother Jai, I will. Zhang Rongyang saw that Zhu Jai had made up his mind and knew that he could not persuade him, so he said nothing more. The post has already been published on Weibo. Given Zhu Jai's personality, it is impossible for him to make a comeback. Eiji, Tang Jiru looked at Zhu Jai's complicated expression and called softly. Sorry for waking you up. Zhu Jai immediately held Tang Jiru's hand and said softly. No, I just got enough sleep. Tang Jiru shook her head. I have announced my retirement from the entertainment industry. I will stay with you for the next period of time. Zhu Jai looked at Tang Jiru and said seriously. Okay, Tang Jiru controlled herself, not thinking too much, and smiled. Zhu Jai looked at Tang Jiru and held his breath. He, Zhu Jai, took note of this matter. The afternoon sun streamed in from the window. Two people, one lying down and the other sitting, were talking quietly. Ding-ling-ling, Lu Yishan's phone rang. Hello? Mr. Lu, the information has been found. An electronic voice came from the other side. Okay, I'll transfer double the money to you right away, Lu Yishan said lightly. Great, the money has arrived, and the information will be sent to your email immediately, the electronic voice said, and hung up the phone. Lu Yishan operated his phone a few times and transferred 2 million yuan. Ding-dong, soon an email came on the computer. Lu Yishan smiled and dragged the mouse to open the newly received email. Xiaomu Entertainment, a component of the company. The current project is the TV series, Zhu Xianjuan, adapted from the novel Zhu Xianjuan, directed by Ding Lei and written by Li Xiaoshuang. Producer, Tanya, investors. Weilio Entertainment 200 million, Su Luo 200 million, Xiaomu Entertainment 300 million, Jiang Yu 100 million, total investment 800 million. Starring Jiang Yu, Zhuqing, Song Jinan. Shooting plan, shooting period, 6 months, shooting location. If Su Luo saw these contents, he would definitely be surprised, because even he didn't know these things in such detail. Lu Yishan stared at the contents of the email, his eyes changing from uncertain to bright, and tapped lightly on the table with his left hand. After a moment, Lu Yishan picked up the phone and pressed it. Let Fu Wenteng come over. After saying that, Lu Yishan hung up the phone. About 5 minutes later, a middle-aged man walked in. Mr. Lu, Fu Wenteng called out, then sat down opposite Lu Yishan. Director Fu, have you heard of Zhu Xian? Lu Yishan asked. Well, it turns out to be a popular novel on the Zhangong Novel Network, and now it's going to be adapted into a TV series. As a TV drama director, Fu Wenteng is quite familiar with the TV drama information in the entertainment industry. What do you think of this project? Lu Yishan asked. Well, there is a fan base, but many fans of the original novel have high expectations for the TV adaptation. Whether this project will be successful depends on the adaptation. Fu Wenteng thought about it and expressed his thoughts. The IP is definitely good, but whether it can be filmed well depends on the quality of the script and director. Of course, special effects and other things are also issues. The director of this project is Ding Lei and the screenwriter is Li Xiaoshuang. Have you heard of it? Lu Yishan asked. I know Ding Lei. He's a bit of a genius, but he's just unlucky. He's got the talent, but I've never heard of Li Xiaoshuang. Mr. Lu, how do you know all this? Are you interested in this project? After Fu Wenteng finished speaking, he looked at Lu Yishan in surprise. Well, this project belongs to Xiaomu Entertainment. I'm thinking of having a conversation with them, Lu Yishan said without comment. I definitely won't be able to get the copyright for this TV series, but I can consider the film copyright. However, I may not be able to get it, Fu Wenteng said with an idea in his mind. Well, regarding the copyright, you can contact the Immortal Palace Novel Network and see if the author is willing to sell it. If it sells, we will immediately launch the project and release it within half a year. Lu Yishan stared at Fu Wenteng and said seriously, Mr. Lu, what are you doing? Are you going to suppress Xiaoramu Entertainment? Fu Wenteng asked tentatively. Well, they tricked Come On Trainee, and we have to avenge ourselves. Lu Yishan nodded and spoke calmly. Then relying solely on the movie version won't be enough, Fu Wenteng said with a frown. Regardless of whether a movie made in a hurry is good or not, whether it can be suppressed does not depend on the movie itself, but on how it was made. It's okay, I have another way. Lu Yishan smiled and said confidently. Okay, you go back and prepare first. Lu Yishan waved his hand and said, Mr. Lu, what if the copyright has been bought out by Xiaoramu Entertainment? Fu Wenteng asked without leaving. Listening to Fu Wenteng's words, Lu Yishan frowned and looked at Fu Wenteng. If you have any ideas, you can tell me. I think since Zhuxian Yuan is a fairy tale drama, we can also make a fairy tale drama. As a director, Fu Wenteng wants to compete with others more in terms of his works. That's fine too, then you can start looking for a script. I only have one request and that's quick. Lu Yishan said, raising a finger. Chapter 271, Little Full Moon. Su Luo spent the entire afternoon typing. After setting up a scheduled post, she stood up and stretched. Liu, you don't have to work so hard, Yi Xiaoramu advised. Yi Xiaoramu liked the way Su Luo was concentrating the whole afternoon. But if this continued for a long time, it would not be good for Su Luo's health. Yi Xiaoramu still felt very distressed. Okay, I'll write it slowly later. Su Luo smiled, understood what Yi Xiaoramu meant, and agreed. Come, let me give you a massage. Yi Xiaoramu stood up, walked behind Su Luo, and reached out to pinch Su Luo's shoulders. Thank you, wife. Su Luo closed her eyes, feeling Yi Xiaoramu's thoughtfulness, and said softly, You're so polite. Yi Xiaoramu grabbed a handful of Su Luo's hair and said with a smile. The two of them were affectionate for a while, and then Sun Tingting came up and called them down to eat. Sun Tingting worked a day, and when she came back, she wanted to see her child and play with Xia Xiao. Like any other night, Yi Xiaoramu felt that her condition had almost returned to normal. The only thing I am not satisfied with is that my abdomen still feels a little loose and a bit ugly. Hubby, look, I feel so ugly. Yi Xiaoramu pointed at her belly and said to Su Luo, It's not ugly at all, don't worry. Su Luo sat next to Yi Xiaoramu, reached out and gently rubbed her abdomen to comfort her. It doesn't feel as elastic as before, Yi Xiaoramu said with a pout. Don't worry, once your body recovers, with a little exercise, you will be fully recovered. Su Luo touched Yi Xiaoramu's head and said with a smile, By the way, I've called a cameraman over tomorrow to take some photos of Xia Xiao. Yi Xiaoramu patted his head and spoke. Tomorrow is the baby's full-month anniversary, and Yi Xiaoramu plans to take a full-month photo of the baby as a souvenir. Okay, no problem, I was planning to find one, Su Luo nodded. The two chatted for a while, turned off the lights, leaving only a night light on, and fell asleep one after another. The next day, Su Loi Xiaomu first changed Xia Xiao's diaper, then fed her, and finally washed her up before carrying Xia Xiao downstairs. Today, Sun Tingting and Yi Zhenhua took a special leave and did not go to work. Oh, my dear grandson, come and let Grandma hug you. Seeing Su Luo and the others coming down, Sun Tingting immediately greeted them with a smile on her face. Yi Xiaoramu handed the child to Sun Tingting, and then greeted several elders one by one. You guys go have breakfast first. Sun Yun looked at the two of them and pointed to the restaurant. When Xia Xiao is around, it doesn't matter whether Su Luo and Yi Xiaoramu are there or not. Xiaomu, when will the photographer you arranged come? Su Luo asked while eating. Well, it was probably around 9:30. Yi Xiaoramu thought for a moment and spoke. Su Luo picked up her phone and saw that it was already 9 o'clock. It's already 9 o'clock, so it's almost time. I have to tell my parents. After Su Luo finished speaking, she walked out of the living room and spoke to several elders separately. Of course, there is nothing wrong with the elders taking photos on the full moon day, so that they can show them to the child when they have nothing to do. After saying this, Su Luo returned to the restaurant and continued eating with Yi Xiaoramu. Ding dong, the doorbell rang. Su Siyuan, who was closest to the gate, walked over and opened it, only to see two girls standing at the door. Who are you? Su Siyuan asked puzzledly. We are the photographers Yi Xiaoramu called here, one of the girls said, raising the camera in her hand. Okay, come in. Su Siyuan nodded and moved aside. Zio Luo Zio Mu, the photographer you called is here. Su Siyuan saw the two girls had walked in and shouted loudly to the restaurant. Okay, Dad, we're here. Su Luo stood up and said quickly. Then Su Luo and Yi Zairamu walked out of the restaurant hand in hand. As soon as I walked into the living room, I saw two girls communicating with Su's father, Yi's father and mother, and Yi Shuyan. The appearance of Yi Zairamu and Su Luo also attracted the attention of the two little girls. Sister Zairamu, Su Luo, I'm the photographer Wang Ting and she's my assistant Liu Yuking. We made the appointment yesterday. Wang Ting immediately stood up, looked at Yi Zairamu with a smile and introduced herself. Liu Yuking stood up and waved to Yi Zairamu and Su Luo. Okay, then I'll leave it to you. Yi Zairamu smiled at the two of them. These two photographers were introduced by Tanya, so there is definitely no problem with their professional ethics. Yi Zairamu doesn't have to worry about the small photos being leaked. After chatting for a while, Yi Zairamu and Su Luo took the two people upstairs. After some simple arrangements, the two began to take pictures of Zaya Xiao. From time to time, Su Luo and the others would take turns taking photos with Zairo Zairo. The other side, Fu Wenteng contacted the Zhangong Novel Network immediately that morning and was told that the copyright of Zhu Xian Zhuan was not on their website. As for Yi Luo, there is no contact information at all. Fu Wenteng searched for Yi Luo on the internet and found that Yi Luo seemed to be Su Luo. Only then did they realize that they would definitely not be able to obtain the film and television rights to the legend of Zhu Xian. Since we can't get the copyright of Zhu Xian Zhuan, let's buy another one. Lu Yishan frowned and made the decision. It must be finalized today, and then the project will be established. Lu Yishan's words made Fu Wenteng frown. This was really too hasty. Mr. Lu, Fu Wenteng looked embarrassed. I don't care about the process, I just want the result. You can go out first. After Lu Yishan said this, he no longer paid attention to Fu Wenteng. Okay, Fu Wenteng nodded and walked out. Zioxu, seeing Fu Wenteng walk out, Lu Yishan called out. Mr. Lu. Hearing Mr. Lu's voice, Secretary Zioxu walked into the office. Think of a way to make it more difficult for Zairamu Entertainment, with Longhu Mountain in Jiangxi and Wangxian Mountain in Taihang. As Lu Yishan spoke, he handed the scene photos of Zhu Xian to Zioxu. Okay, Mr. Lu, I'll arrange it right away. Zioxu nodded, took the photo, and walked out. After Zioxu left, Lu Yishan picked up the phone again and dialed a number. The public opinion about Zhu Jai is almost calming down now, right? Lu Yishan said. Although Zhu Jai's announcement of his retirement sparked a resurgence yesterday, based on the current trend, it will probably die down tomorrow. The electronic sound from the other side made Lu Yishan frown, but he didn't know what to say because the other side was too mysterious. Next, will you accept the mission? Lu Yishan asked with a smile. Sure, as long as there's money, we'll take any mission, hee. Chapter 272, Little Full Moon 2. Those are the main actors in Zhu Xian. Find all the negative information about them and expose them. Lu Yishan showed a wicked smile on his face and spoke in a low voice. Then the price is different. Price is not an issue. I just want the results. 1 million for first tier, 500,000 for second tier, 200,000 for third tier, and I don't care about the rest. Lu Yishan said that the main point is to make a lot of money. It's a pleasure to work with you. It's a pleasure working with you. Lu Yishan hung up the phone with a smile on his face. Sister Zairamu, do you need frames for these photos? After taking a small photo of the full moon, Wang Ting asked. Well, this one, and this one. Please make me a few 26-inch photo frames. Su Luo pointed at several photos on the computer and said, We want to get one too. Sun Yun and Sun Tingting immediately came over and picked out 2 photos and added. Okay, Wang Ting agreed, and sent several photos that needed to be framed to her own email. Sister Zairamu, Su Luo, all the negatives are here. We have deleted all the photos except those that need to be framed. Once the subsequent photo frames are made, these photos will also be deleted. After taking care of everything, Wang Ting looked up and said to Yi Zairamu and the others, Okay, we believe you. Yi Zairamu nodded with a smile and stretched out her hand to shake hands with Wang Ting. Okay, then we'll leave first, Wang Ting said after seeing Liu Yuking pack up her things. Well, I'll leave it to you then, Yi Zairamu said kindly. It's okay, don't let go, we'll leave now. With that, Wang Ting and the other person opened the door of the villa and left under the watchful eyes of Su Luo and the others. The group of people who stayed behind watched today's photo shoot under Su Luo's guidance. Ha ha ha, Laughter and joy filled the bedroom of Su Luo and Yi Xiaomu. Xia Xiao didn't understand what was going on. She just knew that everyone seemed very happy, so she followed their lead and started laughing. As it was approaching noon, Sun Tingting and Sun Yun remembered that lunch had not been prepared yet. He didn't care about Xia Xiao anymore, but immediately got up, went downstairs and into the kitchen. Soon Su Luo, Yi Xiaomu and Xia Xiao were the only ones left in the bedroom. Most of the time, Su's father and Yi's father chose to let Yi Xiaomu and Su Luo take care of the children. After a simple lunch, less than an hour later, Yi Xiaochen also took leave and came back, watching TV with Yi Zhenhua and Su Seyuan in the living room. As for Su Luo, she was sitting next to the computer and admiring the small photos with Yi Xiaomu again. After almost a month of growth, there is no wrinkle on the little one's body anymore. Fair skin, bright big eyes, long eyelashes, high nose bridge, and slightly small mouth. Wife, I feel that Xia Xiao is becoming more and more like you, Su Luo said. Of course I have to, she's my daughter, Yi Xiaomu said proudly. Everyone else said Xia Xiao looked like him, with those big eyes that looked like peach blossoms and those thick eyebrows and so on. But as the child grew up, Su Luo felt that his little face looked more and more like Yi Xiaomu's. Wow, this one is so cute. Yi Xiaomu pointed to one of the photos. This is a photo of Yi Xiaomu holding Xia Xiao, and Xia Xiao's big eyes seem to be emitting light. This photo deeply attracted Yi Xiaomu's attention. Then Yi Xiaomu sent this photo to Wang Ting via WeChat and made a note of it. Please make a bigger frame for this photo as well. Got it, Wang Ting replied immediately. That afternoon, Yi Xiaomu was immersed in looking at photos, and Su Luo changed the child's diaper from time to time. I also fed Xia Xiao while holding her vertically and patting her back gently with my hands until she burped. Early babies need to be burped after each feeding or drinking milk, which can promote digestion and gastrointestinal motility. Okay, Xiaomu, stop looking. It's going to get dark if you keep looking. Seeing that Yi Xiaomu seemed addicted to watching, Su Luo pretended to remind him. Yeah, I understand. Yi Xiaomu agreed and reluctantly returned the computer to Su Luo. Then Yi Xiaomu played with Xia Xiao, while Su Luo sat on the balcony and started typing. No one came to disturb the two of them throughout the afternoon as they were busy making dinner. Today was the baby's full moon day, and also the day Yi Xiaomu was released from confinement. Everyone naturally prepared to celebrate, and in the evening, Xia Xiao, who was sleeping in the crib, sat around the dining table with everyone for the first time. The lights in the restaurant are not very bright. Babies like to look at the lights before they reach the first 100 days of life. However, if the lights are too bright or they look at the lights for a long time, the children will become cross-eyed. This makes the family very concerned about the control of lighting. Basically, wherever Xia Xiao is, the brightness is relatively soft. Today is the baby's full moon. Xiaomu is out of confinement. Let's have a drink together, Yi Zhenhua said with a smile, holding up his glass. Bang, the sound of several clinking glasses. In addition to the milk that Yi Xiaomu drank, everyone else poured some wine. A table full of delicious food and a happy family atmosphere make this dinner meaningful. At this time, the lights of Yishan culture were still on. Fu Wenteng searched for a whole day and finally selected a fantasy-themed IP. Heart-wrenching. The plot tells a story of chivalry and tenderness, of eliminating demons and defending justice. This kind of theme with love, hate, and vengeance is just right for Zhu Xian. Fu Wenteng felt that if this theme was compared with the legend of Zhu Xian, there shouldn't be any problem. However, this drama has quite a few special effects. According to preliminary estimates, the investment will be approximately 1 billion yuan, and the entire project will take at least a year to complete. However, he was told by Lu Yishan that he had to complete the filming within half a year, so that it could be released at the same time as the legend of Zhu Xian. At this moment, Fu Wenteng didn't feel any pain in his body, but he felt tired in his heart and pain in his pelvis. On the other hand, Xiaoxu has also finalized a cooperation agreement with Jiangxi Longhushan today. The exclusive use of Longhu Mountain in Jiangxi province as the filming location is for half a year. As for Taiheng Wangxian Mountain, Xiaoxu plans to go there to negotiate tomorrow. According to the current progress, Taiheng Wangxian Mountain will not be a big problem. In this way, the two exterior scenes of Zhu Xian are gone. As for what impact it will have, it is still unclear at the moment. At this time, the crew of The Legend of Zhu Xian, who were shooting a night scene in Hengdian, suddenly had some strangers around them. Cut, Ding Lei shouted loudly, holding the script in his hand. What's going on? I've told you so many times. Bai Wying is being clever and quirky right now, not a fool. Ding Lei looked at Song Jinan in the field and shouted loudly, his face full of anger. Chapter 273, Making an Appointment for Square Dancing. I'm sorry, Director. Song Jinan apologized quickly. Adjust for 10 minutes and then shoot again after 10 minutes. Ding Lei waved his hand. What can we do? We have to teach our own artists. Xiaoqing, have you noticed that there are more people around? Jiang Yu walked to Zhu Qing and said with a frown. Don't call me Xiaoqing. Zhu Qing glared at Jiang Yu and said coquettishly. This guy is not only straight, but also has a different way of thinking. He has been pursuing her for so long that she originally wanted to agree. As a result, this guy said something in front of her without any scruples. According to my calculations, you should agree this time. This guy might be seriously ill. Zhu Qing decided that whoever wanted to agree could agree, but she absolutely would not agree. Stop making trouble. Look, it's already evening. I didn't expect there are still so many people here. Jiang Yu glanced around and said lightly. Isn't it normal to have people watching? Don't worry about it. Zhu Qing complained speechlessly. Ding Lei did not notice anything unusual in all this, and completed the filming as planned. The next morning, Yi Xiaomu, who had just finished her confinement, took Su Luo to the hospital to visit Tang Jiru. Xia Xiao was taken care of by Sun Yun and Su Siyuan. As for Yi Shuyan, he received an invitation from the BBD Auto offline flagship store in Shanghai and went to work there. Yes, there was no need for an interview. She could start work directly, which made her feel privileged. Everyone in the store knew that she had a background, and there was no such thing as looking down on people with connections. Most people thought that she was here to gain experience and had little to do with them, and that she would definitely be transferred to the headquarters in the end. If there is no conflict of interest with others, most people will still choose to be kind to others. It was almost noon when Yi Xiaomu returned home, and the first thing she did was to sit in the living room and watch TV. She hasn't watched TV for a month. Now that she is finally out of confinement, she can watch TV without restraint. The show playing on TV was You Are My Pride, starring Jiang Yu and Zhu Qing. Looking at Yi Xiaomu lying on the sofa with an ant's smile, Su Luo shook her head, walked into the restaurant and started to cook lunch. As for Xia Xiao, Su Luo just went up to check on her and found that she had fallen asleep. Sun Yun and Su Siyuan were taking care of her. Su Luo stopped Sun Yun, who was about to cook, and took over the task of cooking on her own initiative, mainly because Yi Xiaomu wanted to eat something with a strong flavor today. The child no longer drinks breast milk, so Su Luo readily agreed to Yi Xiaomu's request. I had a plate of boiled pork slices, a plate of chopped pepper fish head, 2 vegetarian dishes, and a plate of pork ribs and winter melon soup. At lunch, Xia Xiao was lying in the crib, holding a bottle of milk powder in her hand, drinking it obediently. Su Luo and a few others were sitting around the dining table eating. Xiao Luo, Xiao Mu, we are ready to go back and live. Sun Yun spoke first. Several elders are preparing to move back, and Yi Xiaomu has finished her confinement, so she doesn't need so many people to take care of her anymore. Mom and Dad, there are enough rooms here. It's okay for you to live here. Yi Xiaomu tried to persuade them to stay. Apart from anything else, her mother-in-law was really good to her, and the legendary difficult relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law did not appear in their family. Yi Xiaomu didn't feel any discomfort living with her parents at home. You young people have your own lives to live with. It's not really appropriate for a group of us to live here. Besides, it's not like we won't come back. We live so close, we can come over whenever we want. Sun Yun looked at Yi Xiaomu with satisfaction and began to explain. Okay, Mom and Dad, just make your own decision. Seeing that Yi Xiaomu still wanted to keep her, Su Luo reached out to stop her. What Sun Yun was talking about was not just the two of them, but also Yi Zhenhua, Sun Tingting, and Yi Shuyan. They must have already discussed it. Su Luo did not force them. After all, it was only about 10 minutes' walk, which was not very far. In fact, there was another reason that Su Luo did not mention. It was a special case before. The child was young, and Yi Xiaomu had not yet left the confinement period. This way, everyone will take care of each other. But if they continue to get along, it is not certain whether they can be as harmonious as before. If Yi Xiaomu plays around at home, it's hard to say whether Su Siyuan and Sun Yun would have any objections. Similarly, if Su Luo slacks off at home, will Yi Zhenhua and Sun Tingting have any objections in the future? People are all lazy sometimes, but for lovers, this kind of behavior may be ignored by just acting coquettishly or playing tricks. But for the parents of both sides, it may cause points to be deducted. If the points are deducted too much, conflicts will arise. This is also why many newlyweds like to move out. Maybe some young couples are just having a little fun at home, like paying homage to the queen, and they don't think it's a big deal. The parents-in-law may have opinions. Why is this son so henpecked and afraid of his wife? Naturally, they will be dissatisfied with their daughter-in-law. After they finished their meal, Sun Yun cleaned up the dishes and then took Su Siyun back to pack their luggage. Su Luo also went to check on Yi Zhenhua and Yi Shuyan's rooms, only to find that they had already packed up and left. In the afternoon, Yi Zayaramo was at home with Zai Exeo. Su Luo sent Su Siyun and Sun Yun back to Jinxiu community. Take good care of Zayaramo, okay? It's a blessing for you that such a big star likes you. At the doorstep, Sun Yun began to give instructions. Well, all the worries just now were in vain. With this attitude, if Yi Zayaramo makes a fuss at home, her mother will probably have to cover her with a blanket to prevent her from catching a cold. Don't worry, Mom, your son is also very good, Su Luo said helplessly. Okay, go back quickly and help Zayaramo take care of the child. Sun Yun waved at Su Luo, signaling him to go back quickly. Okay, then I'll be leaving, Su Luo said and walked into the elevator. Huh, Sun Yun watched Su Luo leave and let out a long sigh. Why, if you can't bear to leave, just go and live there. Su Siyun looked at Sun Yun's expression and said, What, I just feel a lot more relaxed. I've made an appointment with Sister Sun to dance square dance with me in the evening, Sun Yun said with a smile. She and Sun Tingting have been very busy this month, taking care of Yi Zayaramo and Su Zayexil all day long. Their square dance activities have been suspended for a long time. Speaking of which, that's true. Haha, it seems like I'm free now. Hearing Sun Yun's words, Su Siyun's eyes lit up and he said with a smile, When your in-laws come back, you'll be allowed to have a glass of wine. Sun Yun looked at Su Siyun's smug look and replied with a smile. Chapter 274, The Reason for Caesarean Section. When Su Luo returned home, she saw Yi Zayaramo sitting on the sofa watching TV, with Zaya Exil lying in the stroller next to her. Zio Mu, look at Zio, she's secretly watching TV. After entering the door, Su Luo walked up to Yi Zayaramo and said with a smile. Yi Zayaramo listened to Su Luo's words, turned around and saw Zaya Exil tilting her head to look at the TV. He had a smile on his face and looked quite serious. Oh, Zaya Exil, you can't just watch TV now. Yi Zayaramo immediately reached out and turned the stroller so that she could not see the TV. Oh, a faint sigh came out from the little mouth. Ha ha, Yi Zayaramo and Su Luo looked at each other and both laughed. You watch TV first, I'm going to make dinner. Su Luo then stood up and spoke. Yeah, just heat up the lunch dishes. Yi Zayaramo nodded and continued. Yeah, Su Luo lowered her head and kissed Yi Zayaramo, then walked towards the kitchen. Yi Zayaramo smiled, teased Zaya Exil for a while, then lay down again and watched TV. After dinner, Su Luo watched Zaya Exil and Yi Zayaramo go into the bathroom. She could finally take a bath in peace. During this period, she had not washed properly for fear of developing a chronic illness. Now that she is out of confinement, her body feels well recovered, and she can finally wash properly. The shower lasted nearly an hour, and Yi Zayaramo came out wearing new pajamas and with her hair loose. The reason why it took so long to wash was mainly because I washed my hair, and then blow-dried it in the bathroom. If it blew outside, she was worried that it would affect Zaya Exil. Wife, you look so beautiful. Su Luo looked at Yi Zayaramo, who had just come out of the bath, and praised. Of course I have to. Yi Zayaramo raised his head and said proudly. There's a very obvious scar right here. Then Yi Zayaramo lifted up her pajamas and pointed. A dark red scar is very obvious on the white and smooth belly. It will slowly disappear over time. Su Luo walked to Yi Zayaramo, reached out and touched her gently, comforting her. Yeah, Yi Zayaramo nodded, not really caring. In any case, the cesarean section was performed very timely, because in the operating room, she heard the doctor say that Zaya Exil's umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck. The umbilical cord was wrapped around the neck, but it was not detected during the prenatal checkup. In this case, it is almost impossible to give birth naturally. This was also the doctor's experience at the time, and they recommended a cesarean section. Fortunately, they did not hesitate at the time. If you really choose a natural birth, there is a high possibility that you will be taken to the operating room for a cesarean section halfway through the birth. If that were the case, it would be real suffering, equivalent to suffering twice. Now, with this result, both mother and daughter are fine, and Yi Zayaramo doesn't think it's a bad thing. Yi Zayaramo's abdomen was smooth and tender at this time. Su Luo touched it and felt a softness. After exercise, it would regain its elasticity. Many pregnant women, especially those carrying twins, may even develop wrinkles or lines similar to stretch marks on their abdomens after giving birth. Yi Xiaomu is very satisfied with her current condition. The scar was right on her lower abdomen, so only Su Luo had the chance to see it. "Oh, okay, stop touching me and go take a shower." Yi Xiaomu felt Su Luo's warm hand, patted Su Luo with a red face, and said coquettishly, "Yeah, I'm going to take a shower. Xiaoxiao is almost ready to sleep, so you can coax her." Su Luo stood up, touched Yi Xiaomu's head, and said with a smile, "I know, by the way, honey, I'd like to trouble you to help me wash the clothes." Yi Xiaomu said to Su Luo a little embarrassedly. "I know," Su Luo said, and walked into the bathroom with her pajamas. The internet has a short memory. In just 2 days, there was almost no news about Zhu Jai. Only some true fans left messages on Zhu Jai's Weibo, trying to get a response. But Zhu Jai has deleted the Weibo on his phone and no longer pays attention to things in the entertainment industry. After chatting with Su Luo and his wife for a long time in the afternoon, he officially decided to start his own business. In order to start a business, Zhu Jai brought Tang Jiru's parents to Shanghai to take care of her. The reason why he didn't let his parents come was because he was afraid of putting pressure on Tang Jiru. Zhu's father and mother originally wanted to come, but were persuaded by Zhu Jai and told them about his business plan. He asked them to come to Shanghai and look for some land nearby with him, mainly for agricultural development. "Mr. Lu, the deal with Taihang Wangxian Mountain has also been settled." Lu Yishan received a call from Xiaoxu in the evening and was told the news. "Very good, well done." Lu Yishan smiled and praised generously. "Haha, I really want to see what will happen when Xiaomu Entertainment learns this news." Lu Yishan had a smirk on his face and spoke casually. "Boss Lu, isn't the investment too high?" Xiaoxu listened to Lu Yishan's proud voice and raised the doubts in her heart. After all, negotiating this matter with local relevant personnel and obtaining exclusive use rights for half a year cost nearly 200 billion yuan. "Let's not talk about it for now. We have our own Xiangxia drama that can be used. If Zhu Xian doesn't want to stop filming and still wants to rent it from us, we can quote any price we want." Lu Yishan explained that although China has many famous mountains and rivers, each place has its own unique characteristics. At least there will be no alternative places to Longhu Mountain in Jiangxi and Wangxian Mountain in Taihang in the short term. Neither the crew nor the actors' schedules allow Legend of Zhu Xian to be delayed for too long, so they can only pay high rent to use it. This is an open conspiracy. A normal crew wouldn't encounter this kind of thing. After all, who would spend 10 million just for the right to use a place? Moreover, this kind of outdoor shooting rarely leads to leaks. It can only be said that there seems to be a problem within Xiaomu Entertainment now. "Mr. Lu, this..." Xiaoxu hesitated and was about to say that this was a bit too much. "Xiaoxu, you are just a secretary. Just do what I assign to you, don't say anything else." Lu Yishan interrupted Xiaoxu. He could even frame his own friend Wang Ji, let alone Xiaomu Entertainment, with whom he had no relationship at all. "Next, we have to start building momentum." After hanging up the phone, Lu Yishan looked at the project report of Heartbreaking on the computer and spoke slowly. That night, topics quietly appeared on Weibo. Zhu Xian Legend Reuters video. Can such a violent temper really be filmed well? The leading IP of the new era Xiangxia drama, Heartbreaking, has completed the project and will start filming soon. Chapter 275, the location is occupied. The topics of Zhu Xian and Heart-Wrenching are like a competition. One is criticizing and the other is praising. Both dramas are fantasy dramas. Given the current situation, it seems that the two companies are going to compete with each other, which makes netizens even more excited. This kind of competition is rarely seen nowadays. After all, in this model, investors face increased costs or sacrificed profits due to competition. This situation is almost rare now. Under normal circumstances, everyone either chooses different themes or the same theme at different times. This way both parties benefit, and there is a sense of mutual promotion. But this pursuit of simultaneous broadcasting is obviously done for the purpose of competition. Netizens immediately looked up the Heartbreaking situation. The investor behind it is a small, unknown entertainment company that doesn't even have an artist. This is obviously a pseudonym. This was suggested by Hu Luanxiu. After all, if you really tell others openly that this was done by Yishan Culture, this will affect Yishan Culture's external impression and its own corporate image. Internet users are blind. Often what you see is what others want you to see. Most of the time, Netizens are unable to distinguish right from wrong and can only follow the thoughts of those who influence public opinion. Yishan culture took advantage of this point and forcibly hyped up the popularity of Heartbreaking. Mr. Liu, if the quality of the final heart-wrenching story is not good, it will be a hindrance to others. Fu Wentang reminded from the side. That's up to you, Director Fu, Liu Yishan said, patted his butt and chose to leave. Fu Wentang looked at Liu Yishan's back and sighed. This situation was successful. Everyone was happy. Liu Yishan was a good leader. It failed, it was him, Fu Wentang. It was useless. The filming was not good. In short, it was a one-shot deal. Thinking of this, Fu Wentang took out the revised script and started to make storyboards. In addition to a good plot, a work also depends on the level of the director, and storyboarding is one of the main techniques. The next day, when Su Luo woke up, she changed Zairo's diaper, filled the milk powder, and handed it to Yi Zairomu. She asked Su Luo to check Weibo first. Hearing this, Su Luo guessed that something might have happened, so she opened Weibo. The content on Weibo made Su Luo frown slightly. "What the hell is this heart-wrenching?" Su Luo said speechlessly. "I took a look at it. It's also a fairy tale drama. I haven't watched the content yet, so I don't know what it's like." Yi Zairomu said to Su Luo while feeding Xiaoxiao. "It seems that they are going to attack us," Su Luo said with a smile. Although netizens cannot tell who is behind this, heartbreaking now, people in the circle like Su Luo guessed it at once. It is most likely Yishan culture. If the subsequent cast list comes out, it will be more confirmed. There is no way that there was much time for casting for Heartbreak, which was hastily approved and started filming. He can only use artists from his own company, and this identity cannot be hidden for long. "How is it, does it affect us?" Yi Zairomu asked. "There will definitely be an impact, but don't worry, it's not a big problem," Su Luo said with a smile. If Heartbreaking is really released together with The Legend of Zhu Xian, diversion is inevitable, but at the same time, it will definitely gain an advantage in terms of publicity. Su Luo thought that this would not necessarily be a loss, especially since he was very confident in the quality of The Legend of Zhu Xian. The Legend of Zhu Xian took half a year to prepare, so it must be much more thoroughly prepared than The Heartbreakers, which was hastily launched. "Okay, I'm glad you understand," Yi Zairomu said, picked up Xiaoxiao and started to burp her. Xiaoxiao, lying on Yi Zairomu's shoulder, looked at Su Luo with a smile on her face. "Be good, little one," Su Luo said, then touched Yi Zairomu's head and went into the bathroom to wash up. Not long after, Su Luo came out again. "Wife, I'm going to make breakfast." Now there are only 3 of them in the villa, and eating has returned to the original state, and they need to cook it themselves. As for cooking, Su Luo enjoyed it. Humming a cheerful tune, she walked out of the bedroom. About 20 minutes later, Yi Zairomu and the child sat in the restaurant, and Su Luo brought out breakfast in due time. Ding-ling-ling, Su Luo's cell phone rang while she was eating. "Hello, Sister Ya, have you eaten?" Su Luo answered the phone and greeted her. "Zio Luo, something happened," Tanya said in a serious tone. "What's wrong?" Su Luo glanced at Yi Zairomu, who was eating peacefully, stood up, walked out of the restaurant and asked. A hint of doubt flashed in Yi Zairomu's eyes. He glanced at Su Luo, then lowered his head and started eating. She thought it might be because of what happened in the morning, but she believed in Su Luo's ability and could handle it well. After all, it has always been like this. No matter what happens, Su Luo can handle it well. Today, the person in charge of Longhushan in Jiangxi called and said that they will not be open to the public for the next 6 months and have already rented it out. Tanya began to report the situation. "Is this our filming location?" Su Luo asked. "Yes, and he has quite a few scenes." Tanya nodded, confirming Su Luo's words. "Then someone must have done it on purpose. Is there any alternative?" Su Luo frowned and asked. "We definitely won't be able to find an alternative location in a short period of time. According to the filming schedule, we should be there in the next few days," Tanya said in a serious tone. "Mr. Tan, we just received a call from Taihang Wangxian Mountain, saying they'll be closed to the public for 6 months. At this time, Jiang He walked in and said to Tanya, "Zairo Luo, Sister Ya, I heard it." Su Luo said that she had heard Jiang He's report. Longhu Mountain in Jiangxi and Wangxian Mountain in Taihang are the 2 main filming locations for The Legend of Zhu Xian. If it really can't be used, it will directly affect the entire shooting progress. Su Luo frowned. He was sure that this must have been done by Yishan culture. "Let's contact them first and see what their quote is for renting these 2 places." Su Luo thought for a moment and said, "Okay," Tanya agreed. "Sister Ya, I suspect this is Yishan culture's revenge against us." Su Luo expressed his thoughts. Come to think of it, it is indeed possible. After all, we tricked them before. Tanya agreed. In that case, I guess they won't lend us these two places easily, Tanya added after a pause of a few seconds. Yes, they will try every possible means to trip us up. Su Luo nodded and continued. Chapter 276, Su Luo's Plan. In this case, our project will definitely be postponed, Tanya said solemnly. The shooting plan cannot be adjusted at will. After all, every actor has their own plan. If the legend of Zhu Xian does not go according to the shooting plan and is delayed, the actor's pay will have to increase. After all, the announcement time has increased, which has affected their other announcements. Although the leading actors are artists from their company, many important supporting roles are from other companies. I roughly calculated that if the filming is really postponed for half a year, we expect to increase the salary by about 10 million. Tanya thought for a moment and said, I think the other party can calculate this data, so I don't think we can get it with 10 million, Su Luo said. In that case, let's take 2 steps. In fact, as long as we can find a replacement and adjust the shooting plan, there should still be hope of catching up with the progress, Tanya suggested. Well, let's take 2 steps. Also, Sister Ya, let me remind you, I think there may be a traitor in the company. Let's check it out, Su Luo said. After all, the other party was able to know their shooting location in advance, which obviously meant that someone had tipped them off. Okay, I'll check this out as well. Tanya nodded to show that she understood. Okay, Sister Ya, go ahead and get busy, Su Luo said and hung up the phone. Honey, what happened? Seeing Su Luo sitting back, Yi Zaiamu asked. It's nothing, let Sister Ya worry about it, Su Luo said with a smile, and then told Yi Zaiamu about the situation. Su Luo is not a male chauvinist at all. She says that these things should be handled by men. If you have any problems, tell your wife. This is the basic principle. It seems that there is a problem in Zaiamu Entertainment, Yi Zaiamu said seriously the moment he heard Su Luo's words. Well, that's amazing, wife. You can even think of this. I've talked to Sister Yer about this issue. Let's investigate it. Su Luo gave Yi Zaiamu a thumbs up and praised him. That has to be all right. After all, I'm a top student, right? It's such a simple thing, I'll just think about it casually. Yi Zaiamu was obviously very proud. As she spoke, she pushed Zaya Xiao out of the restaurant. Su Luo ate a few bites, then cleaned up the dishes, walked outside, sat next to Yi Zaiamu and teased Zaya Xiao with her. Hubby, if you need help, just go to the company. I'll be fine at home. Yi Zaiamu glanced at Su Luo, smiled, and began to persuade her. Don't worry, it's not a big deal, Su Luo replied with a smile. He really didn't take it as a big deal. In fact, Su Luo already had some ideas at this time. After all, he received a reward during Yi Zaiamu's confinement period, a real estate company. As for solving the problem of shooting, it is very simple. Just build a film and television city according to the requirements, similar to the one in Hengdian. The main reason why it has not been done yet is that the right place has not been chosen. After all, Shanghai is not suitable for developing such a place. The land price is too expensive, so he wants to do it in his hometown. But this kind of film and television city actually does not provide many jobs. Some vendors' shops and extras were born, but this industry did not bring much benefit to the long-term development of their local area. Su Luo has been hesitating whether to build this film and television city. Husband, what are you thinking about? Yi Zaiamu asked when she saw Su Luo remain silent. Actually, there's something I've been thinking about for a long time, but I still don't know whether to do it or not. Su Luo came back to her senses, looked at Yi Zaiamu's concerned expression, and started talking. Husband, tell me and I'll help you analyze it, Yi Zaiamu said to Su Luo while coaxing the child. Well, I want to build a movie studio, but I don't know if I should build it in my hometown. Su Luo said hesitantly that these were actually 2 questions, whether to build it and where to build it. I think if we consider the development of Zaiamu, building a film and television city would be a good idea. Yi Zaiamu thought about it and agreed with Su Luo's idea of building a film and television city. After all, with Su Luo, Zaiamu has the most things, scripts, so having a film and television city will speed up the crew's preparations. As for Hengdian Film and Television City, at present, it is more about ancient costumes and martial arts styles, which is not very suitable for Su Luo's fairy tale. When the fantasy dramas become popular, Hengdian may add more, but since it has its own film and television city, it can add more directly. If it is not operated externally, then Zaiamu Entertainment's efficiency in shooting scripts can be said to be fast and in line with the script. Because it is their own territory, They can make modifications as required. The key is where to build it. If it is built in my hometown, I'm afraid it will affect the development of my hometown, Su Luo said hesitantly. I don't think so. Husband, is this place open to the public? Yi Zayaramu shook her head and denied it. If it is really built, we will definitely want to operate it externally. Su Luo nodded and admitted. If it is not open to the public, the construction of this entire film and television city will cost a lot of money. And if it is spread over the script, the cost will be huge. That's it. If you open it up to the outside world, many people will definitely come to your hometown, whether they are extras from other places or crew members. If these people go there, they will boost consumption in the entire Zishi area. And I think you'll have more choices by then. Yi Zayaramu patted Su Luo's shoulder and said with a smile, will that make many young people not study hard to get into college and instead want to become extras? What Su Luo was most worried about when she stood up was that it would affect the future of the children in her hometown. Hubby, you think too much. Those who are good at studying will also study hard. If you are not good at studying and want to be an extra, this is another option. You know, there are also many top students who become extras. Although extras are difficult, in the final analysis, it is also a job. Finally, if you're really unsure whether you should do it, then just go back to your hometown and ask the investment promotion staff there to see if they welcome it. Yi Zayaramu's words made Su Luo completely relieved. Thank you, wife. I was too stubborn just now. Su Luo held Yi Zayaramu's hand and expressed her gratitude. Okay, look, Zayexeo is laughing at you. Yi Zayaramu pulled out his hand, patted Su Luo, and pointed at Zayexeo. Haha, Zayexeo is also happy for daddy, right? Su Luo said to Zayexeo, while stretching out her fingers and putting them into Zayexeo's fist. The first moment, Zayexeo grabbed it with force. Zayexeo laughed. Chapter 277, Playing by the Rules. As for the construction of the film and television city, Su Luo planned to put it off until later. After all, it would take time to select the land. Moreover, even if work starts immediately, it cannot change the fact that the filming location of The Legend of Zhu Xian is occupied. It's very annoying. This method makes people feel nauseous. For Zayaramu Entertainment, Yishan Culture's approach is to hurt itself by 800 and hurt the enemy by 1,000. People didn't play by the rules anymore. Su Luo was speechless. Su Luo typed for a while with a depressed mood, then went to the kitchen to make lunch. Feeling Su Luo's somewhat depressed mood, Yi Zayaramu curled her lips, feeling a little unhappy, and took out her cell phone to send a message to Tanya. Sister Ya, how is the shooting at the scenic spot going? Yi Zayaramu asked. I guess there's not much hope. The other party offered 20 million and we replied with 5 million. They didn't even reply. They've got us. Not long after, Tanya's message came back. Is there any alternative? Yi Zayaramu asked. There's no good solution at the moment, unless we sacrifice the quality of the filming, reduce long shots, and use only close-ups. But then the quality of the entire show will drop significantly. Tanya began to explain. In other words, either we have to spend money to get the place or extend the shooting period, Yi Zayaramu asked. That's the case for now, Tanya affirmed Yi Zayaramu's reply. Well, okay, I'll think of a solution, Yi Zayaramu replied while thinking. Just take good care of Zayexeo. We will take care of the company's matters, Tanya replied. I always feel that you all treat me as a fool, Yi Zayaramu replied with a pout. They won't let me do this, they won't let me do that. I'm almost getting moldy at home. It won't be long. Once the baby is 100 days old, you can bring him to the crew. Tanya replied to Yi Zayaramu with a smile. Well, there are still 2 months left. It will be the new year by then. Time flies, Tanya replied. Wow, at this time, Zayexeo suddenly started crying. Yi Zayaramu immediately put down her phone and coaxed Zayexeo. Now Yi Zayaramu can change Su Zayexeo's diaper without any problem. Wife, come out for dinner. Su Luo walked to the door and shouted after finishing the meal. SHH, Zayexeo just fell asleep. Yi Zayaramu stretched out his index finger towards Su Luo and put it on his lips. Okay then, shall I bring lunch over? Su Luo said in a low voice. Yeah, Yi Zayaramu nodded. Su Luo saw Yi Zayaramu's reaction, smiled, turned around, went to the kitchen and brought up lunch. The two of them sat at a round table by the windowsill, feeding each other lunch. Wife, I already have an idea about the scenic spots. After finishing the meal and clearing the dishes, Su Luo walked into the bedroom and spoke. Ah, husband, you have a solution in just this morning. Yi Zayaramu looked at Su Luo in surprise. Actually, it's very simple, Su Luo smiled. Tell me quickly, what is it? Yi Zayaramu asked. At this time, Wang Xiang, assistant to the president of Hengshan Group, the largest real estate company in China, was sitting in the conference room of Yixin Culture. Sitting next to him was Li Bingbo, assistant to the president of BBD Automotive Group, and sitting in the main seat in the middle was Lu Yixin. Also sitting below were the shareholders of Yixin Culture, big and small. "What do you mean?" Lu Yixin asked with a grim expression. "The shares acquired by our Hengxian Group, plus the scattered shares raised on the stock market have now reached 34%, Wang Xiang said lightly. The shares acquired by our BBD Automotive Group, combined with the nurses' scattered shares, now amount to 17%. Li Bingbo smiled and threw the notarized document in his hand on the table. Leaving aside other shareholders, our Hengxian Group and BBD Automotive Group's combined shareholdings have reached 51%. So, Wang Xiang said here, looked at Lu Yixin with a smile and continued. "Let's start the re-election." "I agree," Li Bing supported with a smile. "Mr. Lu, you only hold 30% of the shares and don't have a veto. Next, it's time for you to retire." Wang Xiang pushed the document in his hand in front of Lu Yixin and spoke calmly. Lu Yixin's face changed drastically. He immediately stood up and pointed at the small shareholders in front of him. These small shareholders all lowered their heads, not daring to look Lu Yixin in the eye. They also wanted to support Lu Yixin, but the other party gave too much. In fact, in addition to purchasing shares, Hengxian and BBD Automotive Group also purchased their equity. According to the equity share, the two companies hold 67% of the shares, and it can be said that the company has changed hands. "Mr. Lu, you don't have to rely on them. They only have the right to dividends left. We have already purchased all the shares. Hengxian Group holds a 34% stake, and BBD Automotive Group holds a 33% stake. Our two companies combined can directly remove you from office. So, Mr. Lu, from now on, you are no longer the president of Yixin Culture." Wang Xiang looked at Lu Yixin's anxious expression, shrugged his shoulders, and said casually. Lu Yixin was completely stunned and slumped in his seat. The company he had worked so hard for was just taken away like this. Next, Su Luo will succeed as the new president of Yixin Culture. Wang Xiang glanced at Lu Yixin and said, "Su Luo?" Lu Yixin looked at Wang Xiang in disbelief. "Yes, Mr. Su is the chairman of our Hengxian Group," Wang Xiang said with a smile. "Oh, by the way, Mr. Su is also the chairman of our BBD Automobile Group." Li Bingbo smiled slightly and added. Lu Yixin was completely dumbfounded when he heard what the two people said. He was jumping up and down like that, saying he was tricked by Xiaomu Entertainment and wanted to get something back, and that he had investigated for a long time, but in the end, it turned out to be nothing. They just overturned the table. Don't you think it's a bit too bullying for real estate tycoons and automobile groups to directly parachute into the entertainment industry? Lu Yixin felt like he was about to cry. Mr. Lu's first order as president is to unconditionally hand over Longhu Mountain in Jiangxi and Wangxian Mountain in Taihang to Xiaomu Entertainment for use. Wang Xiang stood up and spoke casually. After that, he looked at Li Bingbo, and the two walked out of the meeting room and headed towards the finance department together. The two of them want to check the accounts. Su Luo is about to succeed the president of Yixin Culture, so naturally she needs to check the accounts of the previous president's tenure. Of course, it wasn't just Wang Xiang and Li Bingbo. When they finished their meeting, Hengxian Group and BBD Automotive Group had already arranged a group of accountants and auditors to move into Yixin Culture. Chapter 278. The collapse of adults only takes a moment. "What, you directly acquired Yixin Culture?" Yi Xiaomu looked at Su Luo in surprise. "Wife, keep your voice down. Don't wake Xiao up." Su Luo pulled Yi Xiaomu to sit on his lap and said with a smile, "No, husband, you are so amazing." Yi Xiaomu did not ask where Su Luo got so much money. She just thought Su Luo was so amazing. "No, in fact, this is a bit bullying. After all, they are just using the methods of the entertainment industry," Su Luo said with some Versailles. "Bullying is good. Haven't you seen what Sister Ru has become because of them?" Yi Xiaomu's face was full of joy. He then took out his cell phone and immediately started talking about this with Tang Jiru. Su Luo looked at Yi Xiaomu, who was chatting enthusiastically, stood up, lifted her up and put her on the bed, then walked to the computer and started typing. The financial accounts of the two companies were being audited throughout the afternoon. When Hu Luanxiu returned to the company, he saw such a situation and prepared to run away. He was stopped by the economic investigation team and taken to the scene. "Mr. Wang," the financial officer of Hengxian Group called out to Wang Xiang. "What's wrong?" Wang Xiang asked curiously. "This man, Hu Luanxiu, has been withholding artists' salaries in recent years, while also collecting kickbacks from Yixin Culture clients totaling 50 million yuan. The financial officer's words made Hu Luanxiu collapse to the ground. At the same time, they also found out that Lu Yixin had misused public funds for personal purposes, and the amount exceeded 100 million yuan. This is only the situation in the past year, and there may be more problems a year ago. But the existing information is enough to sentence the two men. Can I report it? At this time, a pretty voice came out. Wang Xiang and Li Bingbo looked in the direction of the voice out of curiosity. Who are you? Wang Xiang asked curiously. I am Mao Menqian, Mao Menqian said. Xiao Luo, you're amazing. The problem with the tourist attraction has been solved. Yixin Culture is giving us the use of it for free. In the evening, Tanya called and spoke excitedly. Sister Ya, please don't be so excited, okay? Su Luo scratched her ears. How can I not be excited? I don't know what's wrong with Yixin Culture. They used to act like they were useless unless you paid, but they changed in just one afternoon. This attitude is too weird. I wonder if there's something wrong with the boss of Yixin Culture. Tanya's words made Su Luo frown, while Yi Xiaomu on the side covered her mouth and laughed secretly. After an afternoon of investigation, Lu Yixin and Hu Luanxiu were detained, especially Lu Yixin, who learned that Hu Luanxiu often swallowed the money he asked Hu Luanxiu to do things. He ignored the obstruction of the economic investigation personnel and directly cursed Hu Luanxiu. Hu Luanxiu was not to be outdone and exposed all of Lu Yixin's outrageous actions. Seeing this, Lu Yixin could not tolerate it and began to report Hu Luanxiu continuously. The two people reported each other and successfully increased their sentences from less than 3 years to more than 3 years. As for Mao Menqian, Su Luo finally instructed Wang Xiang to make some arrangements and let Mao Menqian clarify the matter online, and that was it. The scene of Lu Yixin and Hu Luanxiu being taken away by the economic investigation team was photographed by a passerby and uploaded to Weibo. With Mao Menqian's public apology, everyone realized that they had misunderstood Zhu Jai. One by one, they lined up to apologize to Zhu Jai, but there was no response. Sister Ya, I don't know if there's anything wrong with the boss of Yixin Culture, but I think you might be a little busy. Su Luo didn't mind that Tanya accidentally stabbed him. Xiao Luo, are you going to start a new script? Tanya asked curiously after listening to Su Luo's words. No, but I officially appoint Ms. Tanya as the president of Xiaomu Entertainment as a shareholder of Xiaomu Entertainment. She will also serve as the president of Yixin Culture Media. Su Luo said seriously. The president of Yixin Culture Media, Tanya repeated in surprise. Yes, the one you just said was sick was me. Su Luo smiled and teased Tanya. You acquired Yixin Culture? Tanya still couldn't believe it, as if she was dreaming. Yes, we have absolute control, so feel free to do it, Su Luo said with a smile. Okay, Tanya no longer had any doubts and agreed with a smile. At this time, gossip about Yixin Culture began to spread on the internet. Lu Yixin maliciously slandered others, violated others' privacy, and was also suspected of bribing others. Hu Luanxiu is suspected of extortion, embezzlement of public funds, and illegal appropriation of other people's property. The rumor began to spread on the internet, but the Economic Investigation Department did not make it public. It is mainly based on the analysis of the analyst and speculation. Of course, after this incident, Mao Menqian took the initiative to submit a statement of termination of contract. When Wang Xiang and Li Bingbo handled this matter on the spot, they did not ask her to pay the penalty for breach of contract, and of course it was not much in reality. If it weren't for Zhu Jai's incident, there would probably be very few people who knew Mao Menqian. Her disappearance did not attract much attention. At the same time, Fu Wenteng was so nervous that he dropped the filming plan at hand and immediately found Wang Xiang and Li Bingbo, who were about to leave. Is there anything wrong with you? Wang Xiang asked curiously as he saw Fu Wenteng running towards him breathlessly. I want to know, is Heartbreaking still being filmed? As a director, Fu Wenteng is of course very concerned about his past. Everything remains the same, but Heartbreaking needs to be completed with guaranteed quality and quantity, and there are no time constraints. Wang Xiang honestly conveyed Su Luo's answer. Thank you, new boss. After saying this, Fu Wenteng immediately returned to the crew. Netizens are not clear about this, but the entertainment industry is very clear that Yixin Entertainment was acquired by Su Luo, a shareholder of Xiaomu Entertainment. This guy is so willful. Either he solves the problem according to the procedure, or he solves the problem according to the procedure. Or they can just work miracles and solve the problem directly. The group of people who had fanned the flames when Zhu Jai was attacked online were now starting to panic, as it was almost evening. They chose to apologize immediately and expressed their regret for the Zhu Jai incident on Weibo. Without knowing the truth, I was led astray. As if there was a template, some young celebrities kept changing their words and making fancy apologies according to this meaning. It's a pity that Zhu Jai is determined to quit the entertainment industry and completely ignores the news on the internet. He just made a phone call, said thank you and congratulations to Su Luo, and then hung up. Su Luo even heard that Zhu Jai's voice seemed a little choked. However, Su Luo did not expose him. He had been under a lot of pressure recently, and he had to pretend to be strong and act as if nothing had happened in front of Tang Jiru. Su Luo understood that an adult's collapse only takes a moment. Yes, Lu Yishan too. Chapter 279, The Dust Settles. The next morning, Su Luo saw that the public opinion online was beginning to improve, so she picked up the phone and called Tanya. Sister Ye, is there any progress on the leak of the Zhu Xian project? Su Luo asked directly after the call was connected. We have a rough idea. According to the information we saw in Lu Yishan's mailbox, this person can only be a senior executive of Zaya Amu Entertainment, Tanya said with a frown. Then let's check it carefully. Su Luo sighed and said, then hung up the phone. Honey, are you in a bad mood? Yi Zaya Amu said worriedly when she saw Su Luo's expression. Yes, a little, but it's not a big problem. Su Luo looked up and smiled at Yi Zaya Amu. He was indeed in a bad mood. He originally thought that there should be no problem with Zaya Amu Entertainment itself, but he did not expect that the problem would be exposed by just one incident. The company was established a short time ago, and its employees have no sense of belonging. They can sell company information with just a little temptation. This made Su Luo feel a little frustrated, as Zaya Amu Entertainment's treatment was already above the level of its peers. It's okay. After all, Zaya Amu was established not long ago. It's normal to have some problems, don't dwell on it. Yi Zaya Amu walked to Su Luo, held him in his arms, and comforted him softly. Don't worry, I'm just sighing. Su Luo hugged Yi Zaya Amu and said with a smile. Okay, don't think about it. Now that Zaya Xiao is asleep, you can work out with me. Yi Zaya Amu said as he pulled Su Luo up and said with a smile. Okay, but you can't exercise for too long, Su Luo said, rubbing Yi Zaya Amu's head. Yeah, Yi Zaya Amu nodded repeatedly. Postpartum recovery exercises and yoga became Yi Zaya Amu's next focus. She is still waiting to film, so body shaping and acting skills training also need to be put on the agenda. 2 people are doing yoga here. In Zaya Amu Entertainment, Tanya is sitting in the conference room. After she finished her phone call with Su Luo, she immediately investigated the surveillance footage of the past few days and then called a meeting with the company's top executives. These people are all managers who have handled Zhu Xian Yuan. Other ordinary employees do not have access to such core information. I called everyone here today for one thing. Seeing that everyone was gathered, Tanya spoke straight to the point. Regarding the issue of information leakage in our company, Jiang He, please tell us about it. Tanya looked at her assistant Jiang He and said, Okay, Mr. Tan. Jiang He stood up and nodded in agreement, then looked at the group of managers. Previously, our company had a filming location occupied by Yishan Culture, and according to the information we received, Yishan Culture made the decision after receiving the detailed filming plan for Zhu Xian from our company. And these plans are known only to those in this room. As Jiang He's voice came out, several managers looked at each other, and the conference room began to become noisy. Mr. Tan, do you suspect that we have leaked information? If someone comes to steal data, the same thing will happen. Quiet, Tanya slapped the table and said lightly, I'm not doubting you when I say this, but I already have evidence. Seeing that everyone had quieted down, Tanya said calmly, As for who did it, I won't tell you right now. You can come to me privately or call me, and then you can leave Zaya Amu Entertainment with dignity. If you don't come, I will submit this evidence directly to the Economic Investigation Department. Don't think I'm exaggerating or trying to trick you. If you think I'm trying to trick you, you can give it a try. As Tanya spoke, her eyes looked in one direction. Chen Ming, who was sitting in the corner at this time, saw Tanya looking at her and started to panic. Chen Ming joined Zaya Amu Entertainment when it was first established and served as the team leader of the publicity department. He is in his 30s and has an annual salary of more than 200,000 yuan, which can be said to be a successful career. However, in Shanghai, where every inch of land is valuable, This is not considered a big achievement. Perhaps it was a joke from God that his 10-year-old son was diagnosed with kidney failure. The high cost of dialysis became a huge burden on him. He and his wife's salary could no longer cover their son's medical expenses. Just at this time, someone contacted him and paid 500,000 yuan to buy information about the legend of Zhu Xian. As the head of the publicity department, he is very clear about all the plans for the legend of Zhu Xian. Faced with the money that was so readily available, he had no choice but to try his best to grab it. Although he regretted it later and thought that if no one mentioned it, he would pretend that it had never happened. The current situation made him struggle internally. "I only give you 1 day. Dismissal," Tanya said, glanced around the meeting room, then stood up and left. Team Leader Chen, what's wrong with you?" "Oh, it's okay, it's okay. I was just thinking about something." Chen Ming was very confused at this time. He was burdened with a mortgage and his children's medical expenses. If he loses his job, or if things continue like this, his only option is to sell the house. As a father, he couldn't bear to watch his child die in front of him, so he had to do everything he could to treat his son. However, he didn't dare to gamble. He didn't dare to gamble that Tanya didn't have evidence. If he went in, there would really be no hope for his son. Thinking of this, Chen Ming slowly stood up and walked towards the president's office. After hearing Chen Ming's words, Tanya fell silent. Chen Ming's actions were both legal and unlawful. He did this for his family, but this also harmed the interests of the company. "Chen Ming, I'm sorry. Personally, I sympathize with your situation, but from the company's perspective, what you did was wrong." After a long silence, Tanya spoke. "I know, Mr. Tan." Chen Ming lowered his head and said in a hoarse voice. He just hoped that Tanya would keep her word and not hold him responsible. He thought so in his heart, but he couldn't say it out loud. Chen Ming was in no position to ask for leniency from the company. "You'll be given a month to hand over your work, and we'll handle your resignation as normal," Tanya said. "After all, you did something wrong. The company can't keep you." "I understand. Thank you, Mr. Tan. I'll be leaving first." Chen Ming breathed a sigh of relief, said gratefully, then got up and left. Tanya watched Chen Ming leave and sighed in her heart. From Tanya's perspective, if Chen Ming had chosen to trust and support the company at the first moment, the result might have been different. If Chen Ming resigns, this year's bonus should be paid to him in advance, according to the ministerial level standard. Tanya dialed the HR number and spoke. Chapter 280, Su Xiaoxiao's 100 Days. "Congratulations. Xiao Luo, congratulations." At the door of Xia Yan, Zhu Jai came up in full clothes and nodded to Yi Xiaoramu beside him. "Brother Jai, why are you alone here?" Su Luo said with a smile. "You know, Jiru's due date is in a few days. My father-in-law and the others don't dare let her go out with me," Zhu Jai explained with a smile on his face. "This is for you." Then Zhu Jai took out a red envelope from his pocket and handed it over. "Oh, Brother Jai, you are so polite," Su Luo said as she took the red envelope and handed it to Yi Xiaoramu next to her. "Please come in." Then Su Luo pulled Zhu Jai inside. "No need to send me off. You're busy today. I can go in by myself." Zhu Jai waved his hand and stopped Su Luo, who was about to take him in. "Okay, Brother Jai, I'm sorry for the poor hospitality." Su Luo nodded and didn't say anything more. "They are all trivial matters," Zhu Jai said, then walked inside. On the evening of February 3, 2024, Su Xiaoxiao's 100-day banquet. After Su Luo and Yi Xiaoramu discussed it, they decided to hold a grand summer banquet. That day, Su Luo and Yi Xiaoramu's friends all came over, including Chen Chicha and others. Su Luo took this opportunity to secretly give them the wood carving that she had promised to the three people. At the same time, I asked them to keep it secret. This thing is difficult to make and takes too much time. If it is really exposed, I might as well open a store. However, Su Luo was pulled by Deng Keo and Lu Han, and insisted on confirming when the new variety show would start. Su Luo declined on the grounds that her child was still young. In the end, she couldn't persuade Deng Keo and the others anymore, so she could only say that she would invest but would not participate. Su Luo's next plan is to accompany Yi Xiaoramu on filming, let her satisfy her acting addiction, and also accompany Su Xiaoxiao to grow up. Zhu Qing and Jiang Yu's crew also suspended their filming plans today and came together to celebrate with Su Xiaoxiao. Su Luo's uncle and his family also came specially to attend Su Xiaoxiao's 100-day party, especially since Su Luo was told that Su Yan was pregnant. This was a double blessing, as many relatives from Sun Tingting and Sun Yun also came. Of course, because they had little contact, Su Luo was not very familiar with those people, and they were all received by Su Luo's parents and Yi Xiaomu's parents separately. In addition, in the past 2 months, Su Luo's sign-in system has not popped up any tasks. Su Luo asked the reason, and the system replied that as Sushi's strength grew, the system would appear less and less. These strengths are not only Su Luo's own strengths, but also include external ones, such as assets under his name. Su Luo's companies. Louis Moet Hennessy, absolute controlling stake in BBD Automotive Group, absolute controlling stake in Hengshan Group, and the reintegrated Xiaomu Entertainment. After more than 2 months of resource integration, Yishan Culture was acquired by Xiaomu Entertainment. Since both Hengshan and BBD Automotive Group are controlled by Su Luo, there is no problem in integrating them. Thank you all for taking the time to attend Su Xiaoxiao's 100th day celebration. On behalf of my entire family, looking at the more than 100 tables of people below, Su Luo stood at the front, holding the microphone in her hand, and said with a smile. Standing next to her was Yi Xiaomu, who was smiling, holding Su Xiaoxiao in her arms. Thank you all again, and on behalf of my wife and my daughter Xiaoxiao, thank you all. Cheers. Su Luo raised the wine glass in her hand as she spoke, and everyone below raised their glasses in unison. Cheers. Su Luo drank it all in one gulp, and then everyone started to eat. Su Luo took Yi Xiaomu downstairs and sat at the main table with Su's father and mother, as well as Yi's father and mother. Dear guests, dear friends and relatives. At this time, the host's voice came from the stage. This was specially invited by Su Luo, although there were also people among Su Luo's friends who could host it. But Su Luo did not let them go on stage, and they even took the initiative to find him and said they could perform. But Su Luo refused them all. After all, they came to attend Su Xiaoxiao's 100-day banquet as guests today. Su Luo naturally would not agree to them performing on stage. To put it bluntly, this kind of occasion is just for fun. If it's just an activity within their circle, everyone can go up and perform a show and have fun. It doesn't matter. But today, there are not only people from the entertainment industry, but also people from the business circle, especially Su Siyuan's side. Some automobile groups and suppliers have also come. He would not agree to let Su Luo's friend perform like an actor. Although they wanted to liven up the atmosphere and save face for Su Luo, friends still need to consider each other when getting along with each other. If you really do this, you will definitely be ridiculed by some business owners in the future. Night. Su Luo returned to the villa and lay directly on the bed. I'm so tired. I toasted to more than 100 tables that night. It was really tiring. Although I was just drinking beverages, more than 2 hours passed after one round. Yi Xiaomu put Su Xiaoxiao into her little bed. At this time, Xiaoxiao was already asleep. Then Yi Xiaomu sat next to Su Luo and helped hold his arm. Thank you for your hard work, husband, Yi Xiaomu said softly. Wife, you have worked hard too. Su Luo turned her head, looked at Yi Xiaomu, smiled, and spoke gently. Wash up early and go to bed. Yi Xiaomu smiled and continued to massage Su Luo gently. Su Luo nodded, sat up again, took Yi Xiaomu's hand and walked into the bathroom. Oh, you're so annoying. After a while, Yi Xiaomu's laughing and scolding voice came from the bathroom. Wife, let me help you rub your back, Su Luo said with a smile. God bless you, I can reach it myself. No, you can't reach it. Hate. More than an hour later, Su Luo came out holding the blushing Yi Xiaomu's hand, and they both lay down on the bed. Wife, this, Su Luo said tentatively, while reaching out to hold Yi Xiaomu's rabbit. No, Xiaoxiao is here. Yi Xiaomu immediately grabbed Su Luo's hand and stopped her. Xiaoxiao has fallen asleep. Su Luo leaned over and said softly. That won't work either. She might wake up at any time. Yi Xiaomu refused and made a face at Su Luo. It's okay, the child is sleeping soundly. Nothing will happen to him, Su Luo said as she was about to turn over and lie down. Wow, a cry was heard and Su Luo's face changed. Yi Xiaomu blushed, pushed Su Luo away, stood up and looked at Su Xiaoxiao, and found that she had defecated. Su Luo got up and went to the bathroom to get a basin and a towel to wash Su Xiaoxiao. Then, the two of them worked together to change her diaper. I think Xiaoxiao is not little anymore. It's necessary to consider letting her sleep alone. Looking at Su Xiaoxiao, who fell asleep again, he smiled and joked. Chapter 281, Preparing for Comeback. You old pervert. Xiao is only 3 months old, how can he sleep alone? Yi Xiaomu slapped Su Luo on the back and scolded her with a smile. Haha, I was just kidding. Su Luo laughed twice, then pulled Yi Xiaomu to lie down again. Husband, I want to go back to work. Yi Zairamu suddenly sat up and said to Su Luo, who had her eyes closed beside her. Huh, don't you want to rest for a while? Su Luo opened her eyes and looked at Yi Zairamu in confusion. No, I just want to satisfy my acting addiction, then completely fade out of the entertainment industry and accompany Xiaoxiao to grow up. Yi Zairamu looked at Su Xiaoxiao, who was already asleep, with a loving light in her eyes. Then I'll arrange it tomorrow. Su Luo nodded and agreed. Yeah, husband, I love you. Yi Zairamu smiled, lowered her head, and kissed Su Luo. After the two of them flirted for a while, they stopped. We need to make a bed in the bathroom, Su Luo said with fire in her eyes. Hate it, you don't have to lie down. Yi Zairamu glanced at Su Luo and said with a red face. Wife, then we. Su Luo's eyes lit up. No, Yi Zairamu immediately lay down, pulled up the quilt and covered her face. Okay, stop making trouble, wife. It's time to go to bed. Su Luo lifted the quilt and reached out to hug Yi Zairamu. Yeah, Yi Zairamu hugged Su Luo with her backhand, nestled in his arms, smiled, and closed her eyes. The next day, morning, Su Luo and Yi Zairamu sent Xiaoxiao to Yi's parents' home. It was winter vacation for both of them, and they were at home during this period. As for Su's father and mother, they returned to Zixi these 2 days, mainly because the Chinese New Year is approaching, and they need to go back to check the company's financial statements. After all, this is the couple's life's work. Although they have let it go, at the end of the year, they still want to go back and take a look. Then Su Luo took Yi Zairamu and Yi Zairachin, who refused to leave, to Zairamu Entertainment Company. At this time, Zairamu Entertainment had become larger due to the acquisition of Yishan Culture, and its office was moved to the top floor of the central building. Central building, 118 floors. Su Luo brought 2 people into the company. Mr. Su, Mr. Yi. Seeing the 3 people come in, the receptionist, who was slacking off, immediately stood up and greeted the 2 of them. Su Luo and Yi Zairamu nodded slightly, then took Yi Zairachin inside. Teacher Su, Teacher Yi. The trainees and artists kept greeting each other. This made Yi Zairachin behind him open his mouth wide. Are his sister and brother-in-law so awesome? Teacher Su, Teacher Yi. At this time, a tall girl came up. Lu Laipai, didn't you form a group? Why are you here? Su Luo looked at the person who came and asked curiously. Normally, a girl group will have to follow the team for the first 2 years, running around for announcements and commercial performances. Logically, they have no time to return to their original company. Hey, I've accepted a role in a variety show. I need to film the company environment. As Lu Laipai spoke, she stepped aside, and behind her stood a photographer who was taking pictures of the surrounding environment. Is that girl Su Chengxuan back too? Yi Zairamu asked. Yes, she is shooting materials in the dance studio. Lu Laipai nodded and said, Okay, then just take your photos. I won't disturb you anymore. Su Luo nodded when she saw that the time was almost up. Okay, Teacher Su, Teacher Yi, I'll leave first. Lu Laipai waved to the 2 of them. Su Luo nodded and walked towards the president's office with Yi Zairamu and Yi Zairachin. Lu Laipai turned her head and looked, then whispered to the camera. Dear audience members, it's not that I don't want to film it. It's mainly because they are the boss and his wife. If I really film them, what if they make things difficult for me in the future? Lu Laipai said this, but the actual reason was that Su Luo and Yi Zairamu were also public figures, and she didn't have enough face to let them appear on camera. Even if it was really filmed, the director would not dare to edit the 2 of them in. It would be better to make a joke about it. Maybe there would be some footage left. The road to success for an unknown figure in the entertainment industry is so humble. Seize every opportunity to appear on screen. Sister Ye, good morning. On the other side, Yi Zairamu greeted with a smile as soon as she entered the door. Sister Ye, Su Luo also greeted her. Wow, Zairamu, Zaialuo, you are here. Tanya raised her head when she heard the voice, immediately stood up and ran towards Yi Zairamu, then hugged Yi Zairamu. This is my younger brother, Yi Zairachin. You should have met him yesterday. Then Yi Zairamu pointed at Yi Zairachin behind him and began to introduce him. Chenchin, call me Sister Ye, Yi Zairamu said to Yi Zairachin. Hello, Sister Ye, I'm Yi Zairachin. Su Luo listened to her sister's words and called out obediently. Hello, hello, no wonder you look so handsome. You are Zairamu's younger brother. After looking at Yi Zairachin, Tanya began to praise him. Sister Ye, Chenchin is still in school. Looking at Tanya's gaze, Yi Zairamu quickly reminded her. How could she not know what that look meant? Tanya had the same expression when she first met Su Luo. Ha ha, I was just praising you. What's wrong, Zairamu? Are you too nervous? Tanya smiled awkwardly. This was something she was used to as a manager. She would think of signing any promising talent she saw. Yi Zairachin was completely confused and had no idea what her sister and this sister you were talking about. Ah, you've been here for so long, and I still ask you to sit over here at the school gate. Tanya slapped her forehead and said, pulling Yi Zairamu and walking towards the sofa. Zairo Luo Zairachin, you two can do whatever you want, Tanya said, sitting on the sofa with Yi Zairamu. Then Jianghe walked in, put down 4 cups of tea and left. Sister Ye, have you read the script I sent you before? Su Luo picked up the teacup, took a sip, and then asked, is it Shanglin Fu, The Beauty of Bones? I've seen it's very good, but the ending is too cruel, Tanya said. Maybe after the torture, things will be beautiful, Su Luo said with a smile. Is there a twist later? Zio Shui is dead. No, if he's resurrected, it won't pass muster. Tanya's eyes lit up as she spoke, then frowned and asked a question. There's no reversal, but there's another one coming up, Shanglin Fu. A lifetime of love and destiny. Su Luo said, took out her cell phone, operated it, and sent the script to Tanya's email. Sister Ye, the second part has been sent to you. Take a look first. After Su Luo finished speaking, she picked up the teacup and took another sip. Chapter 282, Yi Zairachin wants to act like a badass. Tanya knew Su Luo's arrangement after just reading the beginning. Zairo Luo, you're amazing. I'm impressed by your imagination and plot arrangement. Tanya gave Su Luo a thumbs up. What has Director Lu been busy with recently? Su Luo smiled and asked. He has been following Ding Lei to help recently, Tanya said speechlessly. After the huge success of You Are My Pride, many investors invited Lu Jun to direct, but he turned them all down. I was ready to follow Ding Lei, running around, under the pretext of continuing to learn. If Tanya hadn't noticed that Ding Lei looked at her with a strange look in his eyes, she would have been unable to control her thoughts and wanted to ship them together. Let's send these 2 scripts to Director Lu to see if he's interested. Su Luo shook her head and said, Who are you going to ask to start filming this script? Tanya asked curiously. It's me. Yi Zairamu raised his hand and said with a smile. Are you feeling okay? Tanya asked with concern. Don't worry, it's no problem. No, I mean, do you have acting skills? Tanya complained about Yi Zairamu mercilessly. I have been learning acting skills recently. I have full theoretical knowledge and all I need is practical lessons. Yi Zairamu said confidently. Sister Ye, I wrote this play specifically for Zairo Mu. I will shoot it with her when the time comes. Su Luo explained and winked at Yi Zairamu, causing Yi Zairamu to stick out her tongue at Su Luo. She knew that she probably didn't have much acting skills, but she did learn the theoretical knowledge, so she just needed practice to hone it. Okay, I'll contact Lu Jun later. This is our first costume drama, and we have a ready-made location in Hengdian. Preparations will be quick. When do you plan to start filming? Tanya watched the first part several times and had a general understanding of the scenes required in it. More importantly, she felt very sad, especially when the male protagonist was sentenced to bone removal, which made her wish she could go back in time and destroy the second male lead. Let's do it after the new year. Let everyone have a good new year, Su Luo said directly without hesitation. Okay, no problem, Tanya agreed. By the way, the new year is coming soon. Zailuo, do you and Zairamu want to attend the annual meeting? Tanya thought for a moment and said quickly. When? Yi Zairamu asked curiously. Next Thursday night, February 8th, Tanya said with a smile. This time was quite special. Su Luo looked at Yi Zairamu without expressing her opinion. Liu, let's attend the annual meeting. After all, this is the first year of Zairamu's establishment. Yi Zairamu looked at Su Luo and said in a soft voice. Okay, I'll listen to you. Su Luo nodded and agreed. As for BBD Automotive Group and Hengshan Group, Su Luo doesn't need to worry about them. Their respective presidents will make all the arrangements. They had invited Su Luo before, but Su Luo refused. Just take care of all the big and small matters of the company. If you really encounter any problems, come back to me. Okay, Zailuo Zairamu, don't forget it. It's on the evening of the 8th at Walton in the Central Building. Tanya nodded and gave the address. After chatting for a while, Su Luo took Yi Zairamu and Yi Zairachin and left the company. Chenchen, what's wrong with you? Just tell me what you want to say. In the car, Su Luo looked at Yi Zairachin through the rearview mirror, who seemed to be hesitant to speak, and said with a smile. Brother-in-law, what is filming like? Yi Zairachin asked. I don't know, I've never filmed it. Su Luo looked at Yi Zairachin with a smile. Ah, sister, do you know? Yi Zairachin touched his head, looked at Yi Zairamu and asked. I don't know either. Yi Zairamu glanced at Su Luo and said while holding back his laughter. Ah, sister, aren't you a celebrity? How come you don't know? Yi Zairachin asked. I was a singer before, and I've never acted in a movie. Oh, Yi Zairachin responded with a look of disappointment on his face. When Yi Zairachin was in school, he was relatively low-key and did not tell others that his sister was Yi Zairamu. But young people all want to show off. If they can show up in a TV series, isn't that the biggest way to show off? At that time, Yi Zairachin pretended to be indifferent and watched TV in the dormitory. Then, wow, Yi Zairachin, this person looks like you. It's not like it's me. Thinking of this, Yi Zairachin leaned forward and moved closer. Well, brother-in-law, I don't have anything to do during this winter vacation. Do you need my help? Yi Zairachin said. Okay, then just follow me and help distribute lunch boxes and stuff, Su Luo said with a smile. Su Luo immediately understood Yi Zairachin's thoughts. Yi Zairachin perfectly portrayed the feeling of wanting to have a taste of candy when seeing other children eating it. Well, I won't say anything, I'm just playing. Ah, give out lunch boxes, Yi Zairachin said disappointedly. What, you don't want to go? If you don't want to go, then don't go. Yi Zairamu deliberately provoked from the side. Go, I will definitely go, Yi Zairachin said hurriedly. Well, when I get a chance, I'll talk to my sister about it. It shouldn't be a big problem. Yi Zairachin thought to himself that he was embarrassed to tell Su Luo at this time. In comparison, it would be better to tell Yi Zairamu. Don't underestimate a man's face. Sometimes he can pretend for a long time, and his heart is harder to guess than a woman. Jengxiu community. Su Luo parked the car, opened the passenger door, took Yi Zairamu's hand, and walked into the corridor. Yi Zairachin followed behind with mixed feelings. Wife, talk to your aunt later. If she doesn't object, let him try. Su Luo leaned close to Yi Zairamu's ear and whispered softly. Yeah, I understand. Yi Zairamu nodded in agreement. The two guessed that Yi Zairachin wanted to act, which was actually no problem, as he could also act in a minor supporting role. But he still had to tell Yi Shuyan about it. The three of them returned home. Sun Tingting was making lunch, and Yi Zhenhua and Yi Shuyan were teasing Su Ziaxiao in the living room. Yi Shuyan was off today and didn't go to work, so he came up to help Su's father and mother take care of the children. If we were to ask who is the best at taking care of children in this family, it would definitely be Yi Shuyan. After all, it is not an easy task for one person to raise Yi Zairachin to this age. Dad, Aunt, we're back. Su Luo and Yi Zairamu greeted the two people after entering the house. Okay, Yi Zhenhua nodded in agreement without raising his head. Well, Yi Zhenhua covered his face with his hands, then suddenly opened them. Ha, Su Ziaxiao was amused and laughed, and Yi Zhenhua was also amused by himself. This is the fun of raising children. Even meaningless things will become happy and childish. Chapter 283, A World for Two. Yi Shuyan had no objection to Yi Zairachin's idea of trying filming. With Yi Zairamu and Su Luo in front of him, Yi Shuyan trusted them 100% on these matters. Su Luo did not continue teasing Yi Zairachin. The protagonist in the script had a younger brother, which was just right for him. He agreed and then gave him some books about acting for him to study on his own. Although the effect of doing so is not very great, with the support of theoretical knowledge, we can make greater progress in practice. After lunch, Su Luo and Yi Zairamu stayed at Yi's parents' house for the whole afternoon. When they returned home at night, Su Luo and Yi Zairamu went back alone. Su Ziaxiao stayed at Yi's father and mother's house. As for Su Luo and Yi Zairamu's room, it had been converted into Su Ziaxiao's room. They could have stayed and slept, but Sun Tingting insisted on sleeping with Su Ziaxiao, so Su Luo and Yi Zairamu finally chose to return to the villa. The two people who returned to the villa washed up immediately. Finally, the two of them could enjoy some time alone, but Su Luo was pulled away by Yi Zairamu and asked to rehearse. After all, Yi Zairamu had only learned the theoretical knowledge, but had never actually filmed a movie, and the filming was about to start. As the boss's wife, she doesn't want to lose face. After all, she was a first-line singer before. It would be so embarrassing if her acting skills were mediocre. Husband, if you don't take it seriously, you'll sleep on the sofa tonight. Yi Zairamu looked at the listless Su Luo and spoke angrily. Ah, no, I was wrong. I promised to take it seriously. After hearing what Yi Zairamu said, Su Luo's expression changed, and she immediately made a serious promise. Then the two of them began to get into character. Story background. Zhangzhu arranged another marriage, and Su Luo took Zairamu to visit Zizhu, where he had lived for 10 years but had not yet completed his journey. As an exception, the city gate, which had never been opened since the garrison was stationed, was opened for Zairamu. They rode leisurely on horseback, opened the palace that had been closed for a long time, and the two people's hearts seemed to be closer. I promised to take you home, but I couldn't keep you. Su Luo's words were gentle, but also concealed with a deep reluctance. There was restraint in Yi Zaiamu's eyes, restraint of her love and understanding. She understood Su Luo's choice. She hoped that Su Luo would disobey the imperial order for her, but she was unwilling for him to do so because she did not want her master to disappoint the world for him. She can feel the sweetness, but her heart is bitter. Facing Su Luo's handsome and resolute face, Yi Zaiamu couldn't help but move closer and kiss his lips. Zaiamu, you are wrong. Su Luo looked at Yi Zaiamu in surprise. Why did he kiss me? They were just filming a movie. That's right, Yi Zaiamu said, and moved closer to Su Luo again. Feeling Yi Zaiamu's tenderness, Su Luo knew that the rehearsal was over and the reward would come next. This is two people truly opening up and being honest with each other. The first time they did it, both of them were drunk, and because Yi Zaiamu was pregnant, they didn't have a good time. This time there was no child around, and Yi Zaiamu was in good health. The two-way emotions filled the spirits of the two people, as hot as the sun and as gurgling as a stream. More than an hour later, Su Luo carried the somewhat tired Yi Zaiamu into the bathroom, and soon the two came out holding hands. Wife, why are you looking at me? Su Luo asked after the two of them lay down in each other's arms. Don't do that next time. Yi Zaiamu looked at Su Luo angrily. It's my fault. I wasn't prepared enough. Su Luo rubbed Yi Zaiamu's head and said with a smile. The main reason is that Yi Zaiamu's health has not recovered yet, so she cannot have a second child for the time being. Of course, the two have not discussed whether to have a second child. Su Luo thought about this and personally didn't want it anymore. Giving birth to Xia Xiao already made him feel that Yi Zaiamu had worked too hard and suffered too much. He couldn't bear to see Yi Zaiamu suffer like this again. Yi Zaiamu knew that the government encouraged having a second or even third child, but she was also afraid of having a second child. The main reason was that she felt it was too difficult from the time she became pregnant to the birth of Xia Xiao, and finally to Xia Xiao's 100-day banquet. Especially after the cesarean section, it was very painful, but she never told Su Luo about it because she couldn't bear to see Su Luo in pain. HMPH, what else do you want to prepare? Yi Zaiamu didn't continue thinking but snorted and said to Su Luo. Honey, guess what? Su Luo leaned close to Yi Zaiamu's ear and whispered. I won't guess. Humph, there won't be a next time, bad guy. Yi Zaiamu's face turned red, and she muttered while lying in Su Luo's arms. Wife, don't be shy, Su Luo said as she reached out and lifted Yi Zaiamu's chin. Okay, let's go to bed. I'm tired. Yi Zaiamu slapped Su Luo's hand away and said coquettishly. Okay, Su Luo nodded and lowered her head to kiss Yi Zaiamu's forehead. Go to sleep. Yeah, good night, husband. Good night, wife. The next day, Rare, Su Luo and Yi Zaiamu slept until they woke up naturally. Well, good morning, husband. After waking up, Yi Zaiamu kissed Su Luo. Good morning, wife. Su Luo smiled and replied softly. Then Su Luo stood up, walked to the windowsill, opened the curtains, and let in the warm sunlight. I slept so comfortably. Yi Zaiamu sat up, stretched, and sighed. Thank you for your hard work, wife. Su Luo turned around, looked at Yi Zaiamu seriously, and spoke gently. Su Luo stood on the windowsill. The sunlight enveloped him, and the years were peaceful at this moment. Honey, carry me to wash up. Yi Zaiamu squinted her eyes, stretched out her hands, and said sweetly. Okay, Su Luo nodded, walked to the window, reached out, and picked up Yi Zaiamu in a princess hug. Husband, I love you. Yi Zaiamu smiled, stretched out her arms, and hugged Su Luo's neck, exclaiming. I love you too, Su Luo said, and took Yi Zaiamu into the bathroom. The two of them seemed to have returned to their ambiguous state at the beginning, brushing their teeth at the same frequency. Yi Zaiamu looked up from time to time and blew bubbles at Su Luo. Looking at Yi Zaiamu, who was acting mischievously, Su Luo went straight over and kissed Yi Zaiamu on the cheek. The foam got on her cheeks, and Yi Zaiamu was so angry that she immediately drank some water and spit it at Su Luo. Su Luo reached out and pinched Yi Zaiamu's mouth, then laughed. Woo-woo, let go, Yi Zaiamu said with a puffed mouth, and some bubbles came out from time to time. Su Luo smiled and let go of her hand. Then Yi Zaiamu reached out, grabbed Su Luo's neck, and then stood on tiptoe, rubbing the foam on his mouth onto Su Luo's face. Ha-ha-ha, Yi Zaiamu laughed proudly. The two played around for a while, washed up, and walked out of the bathroom. Ding-ling-ling, Yi Zaiamu's phone rang. Chapter 284, New Play Plan. Hello, Mom, Yi Zaiamu answered the phone. You two can come over for dinner, Sun Tingting said. Okay, we'll be there right away, Yi Zaiamu said and hung up the phone. The two people wore thick down jackets, and then wrapped Yi Zayaramu tightly with gloves and scarves and walked out. When the two of them arrived at Yi's father and mother's place, the first thing they did was take off their gloves, scarves, and coats. Because Su Xiaoxiao is at home, the air conditioner at home must be turned on all the time. This is what it feels like to be warm like spring. Seeing Sun Tingting cooking, Su Luo walked in to help. Yi Zayaramu sat in the living room and teased Su Xiaoxiao with Yi Zhenhua. The moment she saw Yi Zayaramu, Su Xiaoxiao grinned and suddenly ignored Yi Zhenhua. "Baby little darling, mommy is here," Yi Zayaramu said as she walked to Su Xiaoxiao with her head down. Her long black hair fell down, and Yi Zayaramu stretched out her left hand to tuck her hair behind her ear. Yi Zhenhua looked at Yi Zayaramu with resentment. He felt like he had met an ungrateful person. The little girl ignored him when she saw her mother. "Old Yi, go call Yanyan and the others to come up for dinner." At the restaurant door, Sun Tingting shouted to Yi Zhenhua with a spatula in her hand. "Yi Shuyan is off today. Those salespeople don't have weekends off, but take turns having days off from Monday to Friday." "Okay," Yi Zhenhua agreed. "Dad, you stay with Xiaoxiao. I'll go call her." Yi Zayaramu stretched out her hand to stop Yi Zhenhua and said as she walked towards the door. "Oh, okay." Yi Zhenhua smiled and immediately went back to Su Xiaoxiao, teasing her with a rattle. "Good boy, smile at Grandpa." Yi Zhenhua smiled with wrinkles on his face. Wah! Xiaoxiao suddenly burst into tears. The crying scared Yi Zhenhua so much that he started to panic. Sun Tingting ran out of the kitchen angrily. "Wife, I didn't do anything." Yi Zhenhua immediately backed down. "Get out of the way." Sun Tingting pushed Yi Zhenhua away. Yi Zhenhua looked at Su Luo standing at the door of the restaurant and spread his hands helplessly. This woman, sometimes she's just unreasonable. Sun Tingting weighed the diaper and found that it was time to change it. "Be good, little boy. Grandma will wash your butt." Sun Tingting coaxed Su Xiaoxiao. "What are you standing there for? Go get some hot water." Then Sun Tingting's expression changed instantly and she glared at Yi Zhenhua. "Okay," Yi Zhenhua was also helpless. As a man, he had a strong sense of tolerance. He stood up and walked towards Su Xiaoxiao's room. Seeing that there was nothing for him to do, Su Luo returned to the kitchen and continued cooking. He was relieved that Sun Tingting was taking care of Su Xiaoxiao. In this regard, whether it is Sun Tingting, Sun Yun, or Yi Shuyan, Yi Zayaramu and Su Luo are quite relieved to see Su Xiaoxiao being taken care of. At the beginning, Yi Zayaramu was worried. Looking at their clumsy hands and feet, she always felt that the child would be uncomfortable and would mind them changing the child's diapers. Even if it was Su Luo, Yi Zayaramu would glare at him if he made any big moves. As people who have been through this, Sun Tingting and the others understood Yi Zayaramu's thoughts very well. They were afraid of not taking good care of their precious child. Several people took turns to counsel her, which helped her calm down and gradually put her mind at ease. After all, Yi Zayaramu is not the only one who cares about and loves Su Xiaoxiao. Soon, Yi Zayaramu came in with Yi Shuyan and Yi Zayarachan. Seeing Sun Tingting changing Xiaoxiao's diaper, Yi Zayaramu quickly walked over to help. Su Xiaoxiao, who was originally crying, was now looking at the people coming over with wide eyes because her little butt had just been washed. After changing the diaper, several people sat down in the restaurant. Su Xiaoxiao lay in the crib next to them as usual. During the meal, Su Luo talked to Yi Zhenhua and others about her future work plans and her participation in the company's annual meeting. Sun Tingting promised that she would take good care of Xiaoxiao, allowing the couple to film without worry. It just so happens that Su Siyuan and the others will be back in a few days, and it will be very easy for the four of them to take care of Su Xiaoxiao. In the afternoon, Lu Jun called and expressed his willingness to direct the two scripts. Although the two dramas are of different genres, ancient and modern, they are actually one work, with the meaning of past and present life. After the two of them discussed it, they decided to shoot both films together, and initially estimated the shooting period to be 6 months. "Director Lu, let's start casting after the Chinese New Year. We have to let everyone have a good New Year," Su Luo finally said into the phone. "Okay, but I'll draw the storyboard in advance. I can't wait," Lu Jun said with a smile. The reason why he didn't accept other scripts was that he wanted to film Su Luo's works, or the company's works. This is entirely his personal behavior. In fact, it's not just him, Ding Lei also thinks so. On the one hand, the company's scripts are indeed good, and on the other hand, accepting scripts from outside can easily lead to conflicts in announcements. After all, it is normal for a script to take 6 months to a year from preparation to completion. In case of a conflict, the company may have to spend a lot of money to hire someone from outside, while the two of them will only receive a symbolic salary. After all, they are small shareholders of the company and will receive dividends. In fact, even if they don't participate in the directing, their final dividends will not be less. But since Su Luo was willing to give them shares to work together, they must be willing to contribute to the company. They require themselves to direct exclusively for the company. In fact, given the current size of Zaya Amu Entertainment, it is already possible to carry out several projects at the same time. The reason for not taking any action is that, on the one hand, the company's foundation is still a little weak, and on the other hand, it is approaching the new year, and when we say goodbye to the old and welcome the new, it is better to leave the new projects for next year. No matter how impatient I am, the new year is coming soon, so I should give myself a break, Su Luo said with a smile. Haha, I really feel uncomfortable when I'm not filming. Drawing storyboards is like taking a break, Lu Jun said cheerfully. Oh, by the way, sister, you told you about the role issue, Su Luo asked. Well, I told you, don't worry, no problem, I'm quite good at directing acting, Lu Jun said. Then I'll trouble you, Director Lu. Oh, and please leave me an extra role, the male lead's younger brother. Su Luo thanked him with a smile and did not refuse. Although he has some god-level acting skills, he has indeed never filmed such a film, so he should be humble in this regard. After all, the percentage of eye contact and micro-expressions might be a bit too much if they were really used in TV dramas. A TV series establishes characters in each episode, while a movie may only need to portray a character in a few seconds. The emphasis of penetrating performances in movies and TV series is different, and Su Luo needs to practice them. Chapter 285, Little Fun Between Husband and Wife. Okay, no problem. I will start looking for other roles after the new year. Mr. Su, this script is yours. When the time comes, I will still need your help to review it, Lu Jun said with a smile. That's fine, let's wait until the 15th. The Magic City Drama Academy will be almost open by then. We can go and take a look then, Su Luo agreed. After dinner in the evening, Su Luo and Yi Xiaomu brought Su Xiaoxiao back to the villa. After washing up, the two of them had just laid down when Su Luo's phone rang. Hello, Brother Jai. Su Luo picked up the phone and answered the call. Xiao Luo, I gave birth, it's a daughter, Zhu Jai said excitedly. Yes, you gave birth. Su Luo turned on the hands-free mode and teased with a smile. Haha, I'm so excited. My wife gave birth and it's also a daughter, Zhu Jai said happily. Congratulations, we will come to see you tomorrow. Su Luo and Yi Xiaomu looked at each other and spoke. Xiaoxiao is going to sleep now, so there is no need to rush over. Okay, Zhu Jai nodded repeatedly and did not refuse. Then the two chatted for a few more sentences and hung up the phone. Su Luo understood Zhu Jai's feelings very well, because he was also very excited when Xiao was born. Next, Su Luo and Yi Xiaomu chatted about family matters as usual. As for the novel In the Snow, Su Luo had already coded the entire book, but just set up scheduled updates. This also became Yi Xiaomu's frequent reason to tease Su Luo. After all, in Snow, the protagonist has many confidants. Su Luo, how come there is another woman here, this Tang Tang? Yi Xiaomu looked at Su Luo, pretending to be jealous. It's driven by the plot, Su Luo said with a wry smile. Next time when I copy a novel, I can't do this kind of thing. Every time a character appears, I will be ridiculed. I can't stand it. Tell me, does this Tang Tang look good? Yi Xiaomu looked at Su Luo with a warning in his eyes. What's so good or bad about it? It's just a character, all words, Su Luo said with a laugh. Well, characters, then tell me, who were you thinking about when you were writing? Yi Xiaomu said with a smile. I don't think about anyone, Su Luo said, spreading her hands. How is that possible? Every time I look at it, there is a figure in my mind. You don't understand this. I'm just a novelist. How would I know anything about snow? Su Luo explained with a chuckle. There's a saying, there are 1,000 Hamlets in 1,000 eyes. Let me think. Which of your 100 Hamlets is this Tang Tang? Yi Xiaomu reached out and pinched Su Luo's arm, saying with a wicked smile. Honey, calm down, I was wrong. Su Luo immediately begged for mercy. Yi Xiaomu saw Su Luo's expression and smiled triumphantly. This guy needs to be beaten up from time to time. Seeing Su Luo's helpless smile, Yi Xiaomu felt particularly happy. Xiaomu Entertainment Company is, after all, an entertainment company with many girls in it, so it really cannot be used to test Su Luo. There is a saying that human hearts are unpredictable. Even if Su Luo had no other ideas, it was not advisable to test cadres with temptation. Don't test your boyfriend or girlfriend for no reason. There is no such thing as if in life. If I weren't there, would you reconcile with your ex? How should the other party respond to this? If you say yes, then you will definitely be single again. Say no. You hesitated for even a second. Humph, you just know how to do it, let's break up. When two people are together, they trust each other, are honest with each other, respect each other, and consider each other's feelings. This kind of two-way relationship is the basic one. Yi Xiaomu herself is not a jealous woman, and she trusts Su Luo 100%. The reason she did this was because of the little interest between them as husband and wife, and Su Luo was happy to cooperate. Yi Xiaomu liked to see Su Luo being helpless and obedient to her. Su Luo likes Yi Xiaomu's shyness and her little mischievous way of pretending to be jealous. Maybe in a few years, another little tacit understanding will be formed between the two people. After the two of them played around for a while, Su Luo ended the teasing with a forceful kiss on Yi Xiaomu. "Wife, I love you." After parting their lips, Su Luo looked at Yi Xiaomu and said seriously, "Hubby, I also—" "Wow," a small cry interrupted Yi Xiaomu's affectionate voice. "Husband, change the diaper." Yi Xiaomu kicked Su Luo and said with a smile. She skillfully filled a basin with warm water, washed the baby, changed the diaper, prepared the milk, and burped the baby. After doing all this, Su Luo coaxed Su Xiaoxiao to sleep and saw that Yi Xiaomu had fallen asleep facing Xiaoxiao. Su Luo smiled, coaxed Su Xiaoxiao to sleep, walked to the other side, and lay down. Yi Xiaomu turned around in a daze and hugged Su Luo. "Hubby, go to sleep," Yi Xiaomu said softly. "Good night, wife, go to sleep." Su Luo hugged Yi Xiaomu and closed her eyes. The next day, Su Luo was awakened by a small cry. When I opened my eyes, I saw Yi Xiaomu changing the diaper in an orderly manner. "Liu, good morning." Yi Xiaomu took the time to look up at Su Luo and said with a smile, "Good morning, honey, let me do it." Su Luo stood up and got out of bed. "No, I'll be ready soon. Go wash up first. We'll go see Sister Ru later." Yi Xiaomu taped the diaper on. As she spoke, she walked to the coffee table and started to prepare the milk powder. "Okay," Su Luo nodded with a smile, then looked at Su Xiaoxiao. "Xiaoxiao, good morning. Daddy is going to wash up. He will be with you later." After saying that, Su Luo walked into the bathroom. Yi Xiaomu prepared the milk powder and handed the bottle to Su Xiaoxiao. She took the milk powder with a happy smile and put her pink little mouth into it. Yi Xiaomu sat on the edge of the bed, looking at Su Xiaoxiao quietly with a smile on her face from time to time. Not long after, Su Luo came out. "Xiaomu, go wash up, I'll burp you." "Well, okay." Yi Xiaomu nodded, got up and walked into the bathroom. Su Luo looked at the empty bottle, then used a little force to take the bottle down. "Xiaoxiao, be good, let daddy hold you." As he said this, he held the back of Su Xiaoxiao's neck with one hand and her butt with the other. He hugged her gently, letting her lie on his chest with her head resting on his shoulder. He leaned back slightly, and with his hand supporting the back of his neck, he gently patted Su Xiaoxiao's back. "Belch, belch, belch." After a while, Su Xiaoxiao burped a few times, and then Su Luo put Su Xiaoxiao back into the crib. "Liu, are you okay?" Yi Xiaomu came out and asked. "Okay, that's it," Su Luo nodded. Then the two of them changed their clothes and had breakfast in the restaurant. Yi Xiaomu held Su Xiaoxiao in her arms, and Su Luo pushed the stroller out the door. Chapter 286, Showing Affection Regardless of Age. At the door of the villa, Yi Xiaomu held Su Xiaoxiao and sat in the back seat, while Su Luo folded the stroller and put it in the trunk. Then I started the car and went to the Magic City People's Hospital. "Honey, what a coincidence. The room where Sister Ru lives is also where I lived at that time," Yi Xiaomu said while pushing the stroller. "Yes, Brother Jai's daughter and our daughter have a strong connection." Su Luo, who was carrying a gift box and some fruits, responded with a smile. "Knock, knock." Two people stopped at the door, and Yi Xiaomu reached out and knocked on the door. "Zio Luo, Zio Mu, this is Zio, so cute." Zhu Jai opened the door and saw the three of them greeting them excitedly. "Brother Jai ×2. Ha, Su Xiaoxiao also responded. "Wow, Xiaoxiao also greeted me." Zhu Jai looked at Su Xiaoxiao in the stroller in surprise and said with a smile, "Ag, what are you doing at the door? Let them in." Tang Jiru's voice came from inside. "Oh, it's my fault, it's my fault. Come in quickly, come in quickly," Zhu Jai said and moved aside. Su Luo and Yi Xiaomu walked into the ward one after another. "Brother Jai, Xiaomu was also staying in this ward at that time," Su Luo said as she walked. "That's quite a coincidence, haha," Zhu Jai said with a smile. "Sister Ru ×2. Zio Luo, Zio Mu, thank you for coming to see me." Tang Jiru said with a smile. Eiji greet them. Sit, sit. Zhu Jai brought over 2 chairs. Su Luo handed the thing in her hand to Zhu Jai and sat down. I won't sit down. I'll take a look at the baby, Yi Zaiamu said, pushing Su Xiaoxiao next to Tang Jiru's daughter. The baby was a little yellow and wrinkled, similar to Su Xiaoxiao when she was born. The child has some jaundice, but the doctor said it's not a big problem and will gradually disappear, Zhu Jai explained, standing aside. Eiji Zaioro. At this time, 2 middle-aged men came in with breakfast in their hands. Zio Luo, Zio Mu, these are my father-in-law and mother-in-law. Zhu Jai immediately stood up and introduced them. Uncle, aunt. Su Luo stood up and greeted them, and Yi Zaiaramu on the other side also greeted them. Hello, hello. The 2 people also greeted with a smile on their faces. The 2 of them came from home in the morning and brought breakfast with them. Then a few people started chatting, and soon Tang Jiru's parents went back and said they would go back to cook and bring it over. When Yi Zaiaramu heard that Tang Jiru had a natural birth and would be discharged from the hospital tomorrow, she was extremely envious. After all, she was hospitalized for a week and was in great pain. At first, she had to hunch over when she walked. Natural delivery is very painful and I can't have anesthesia. I don't plan to have another child, Tang Jiru said with a smile. Normal delivery is painful, but recovery is quick. Look at how energetic you are. You're almost as energetic as I am now after the confinement period, Yi Zaiamu said enviously. Then you and Zio Luo are definitely not planning to have a second child, Tang Jiru asked. She is a few years older than Yi Zaiamu and has more things to consider, especially after becoming a mother. Her tone suddenly changed during the conversation. It's either parenting tips, pregnancy experiences, or responses to second and third childbirths. Half an hour after giving birth yesterday, Zhu Jai held his phone and chatted for a long time with several married friends about parenting experiences, which gave him a lot of learning. In particular, when I heard that there was a dad class, I immediately signed up for Zhu Jai. I'm a little afraid of pain and don't want to give birth, Yi Zaiaramu said, looking at Su Luo hesitantly. She actually wanted to give Su Luo a son, but she was a little scared of the cesarean section. Be good, don't be afraid. I don't want a second child either. Su Luo rubbed Yi Zaiaramu's head and said lovingly. Yi Zaiaramu looked at Su Luo with emotion. Oh my, there are so many people here, and you are still showing off your love. Tang Jiru looked at Su Luo and the other person and teased them. Yi Zaiaramu blushed, leaned on Su Luo's shoulder and stopped talking. Sister Ru, it seems like you want another one later. Su Luo was very thick-skinned at this time and said with a smile. That, Tang Jiru blushed a little. She wanted another one. Her thought was that the 2 children were at home and not alone. Brother Jai, Su Luo looked at Zhu Jai teasingly. Haha, I'll listen to Jiru. Zhu Jai touched his head and said with a smile. Brother Jai, this isn't okay. You always listen to your wife. Where's your masculinity? Su Luo joked. Look at me, I have the final say at home. Su Luo then said proudly. Yi Zaiaramu, who was originally lying on Su Luo's shoulder, immediately sat up after hearing Su Luo's words, staring at Su Luo with his eyes. Seeing this, Zhu Jai and Tang Jiru laughed secretly. This silly boy is bragging in front of Yi Zaiaramu. Su Luo was blowing the wind, and she suddenly felt a chill coming from the side. When he turned around, he found that Yi Zaiaramu was looking at him quietly. Of course, that's all about the big things. My wife makes the final decision on the small things. Whether it's a big deal or not, my wife has the final say. At this moment, Su Luo seemed to be possessed by Zhou Yang and immediately gave in. Yi Zaiaramu nodded with satisfaction and winked at Su Luo. Hubby, you did a great job. I love you. Yi Zaiaramu signaled with her eyes. Of course, Su Luo also blinked. You 2 should show your affection when you get home, Tang Jiru said while winking at the 2 of them. He and Zhu Jai are an old couple, and they are not as clingy as these 2. Sister Ru, don't be jealous. You can show off too, Yi Zaiaramu teased with a smile. We are not as young as you, Tang Jiru said with a red face. Which woman doesn't have spring fever? Which woman doesn't like sweet love? But Zhu Jai is such a straight man that he can't be romantic. There's no age limit when it comes to showing affection, Yi Zaiaramu said proudly. The 4 of them chatted for a while, and then Su Luo and Yi Zaiaramu said goodbye. After all, they had been out for a while, and they were worried that Su Xiaoxia was hungry or needed a diaper change. At the door of the ward, Zhu Jai took out a red envelope. Brother Jai, you, Su Luo evaded. I'm buying milk powder for my child, Zhu Jai explained. You have already paid for the 100 days banquet. Su Luo declined again. It's different. This time you brought Xiaoxiao to see Jiru. Although it's not at home, this is what I should give her. Zhu Jai explained while handing out the red envelope again. Okay, Brother Jai, I'll take it. Su Luo was no longer polite and took it. It's really nothing. It's the give and take that keeps the relationship long-lasting. Just return it to Gyugyu in the future. Tang Jiro and Zhu Jai's daughter, whose nickname is Gyugyu. Candy fruit. Drive slowly. Zhu Jai sent the three people to the elevator. Brother Jai, you go back. Sister Ru is alone over there. We'll leave first, Su Luo said. Chapter 287. You are quite good at acting. After visiting Kang Jiru, Su Luo and Yi Xiaomu took Xiaxil back to Jingxiu community. The child was handed over to Sun Tingting and Yi Zhenhua. It is said that grandparents are closer than grandparents. These two people can't wait to play with Xiaxil every day. This year, Su Luo and Yi Xiaomu have agreed to spend the new year together in Jingxiu community. They also invited Yi's father and mother, and Su's father and mother to celebrate the new year together. But both elderly people were unwilling to do so, saying that it was more lively in the community. After the two of them put Xiaxil down, they went out and bought New Year's goods, such as melon seeds, peanuts, and candies. The two of them bought some new clothes for several elders and also bought a set for Yi Xiaochen. Then, they carried the bags home. The next period of time is the preparation for the new year, with the lively activities of pasting Spring Festival couplets and window decorations. The only shortcoming is that Su Xiaxil is still too young to participate. On February 7, Su Siyuan and Sun Yun also came back. This year they had agreed to have the New Year's Eve dinner at Su's parents' home. Because the two families only have one child, and now they live next door to each other, no one has any objection to them going back and forth like this. On February 8, Su Luo secretly made a phone call while Yi Xiaomu was still asleep. Then he returned to the bed and gently hugged Yi Xiaomu from behind. These days, Su Xiaxil was either accompanied by her grandmother or her great-grandmother, which gave Su Luo and Su Xiaxil a few days of their own time. Husband, good morning. Yi Xiaomu turned around and murmured. Good morning, wife. Su Luo stopped stroking Yi Xiaomu's hair and said with a smile. The two of them stayed together for a while, then got up and went straight to Jingxiu community. The Chinese New Year was approaching, and all the necessary preparations had been made, except that Su Luo went out for a while at noon and brought back a cake when she came back. Wife, happy birthday. Su Luo said to Yi Xiaomu, who opened the door while holding a cake. Xiaomu, happy birthday. Everyone nearby also shouted. Because we have to attend the annual meeting tonight, I'm celebrating your birthday early at home. Do you mind? Su Luo walked into the room and said to Yi Xiaomu with a smile. Yi Xiaomu was a little shy at this time. After all, she was blushing when so many people congratulated her on her birthday. Thank you, I'm very happy. After saying that, Yi Xiaomu quickly ran behind Su Luo and took his arm. Xiaomu is a little shy, haha. Su Luo immediately explained to several elders. Brother-in-law, have you prepared any gifts? Yi Xiaochen asked. Of course. Su Luo raised her eyebrows at Yi Xiaochen. I'm not a child anymore. I need a gift for my birthday. Yi Xiaomu patted Su Luo and muttered. In the eyes of your parents, you will always be a child, Su Luo said as she reached into her pocket. Dang ding dang, Su Luo stretched out her hand. Hanging on her hand is a blue gemstone pendant carved into the image of a baby. Yi Xiaomu took the pendant, looked at it, and then looked at Su Luo in surprise. When did you do this? Yi Xiaomu asked in surprise. The pendant shows Su Xiaxil when she was 1 month old. I had it custom made when Xiaxil was 1 month old. Do you like it? Su Luo said with a smile. I like it, Yi Xiaomu said and hugged Su Luo excitedly. Cough, Yi Zhenhua coughed lightly to indicate that everyone was there. This made Yi Xiaomu blush and let go of Su Luo. Then the few of them sat in the restaurant and had a birthday banquet. Even Su Xiaxil was very considerate. She smiled at Yi Xiaomu and waved her little hands and feet as if she was wishing her mother a happy birthday. In the evening, Su Luo and Yi Xiaomu attended Xiaomu Entertainment's annual meeting together. As soon as I entered the door, I was welcomed by a burst of fireworks and cannons. I thought this was a special treatment for the boss. Later, when I saw the multi-layered birthday cake, I realized that it was a birthday blessing for her. Xiaomu, happy birthday. Tanya, along with Lu Maiomiao and the others, were standing next to the cake, congratulating Yi Xiaomu. Thank you, everyone, Yi Xiaomu said with emotion. Su Luo kept smiling throughout the whole process and took a quick glance. She saw that there were at least more than 1,000 people participating. He didn't expect that Xiaomu Entertainment has become so big now. You should know that an artist studio usually has only 6-7 people, And even a large-scale entertainment company usually has only 499 people. He didn't expect that Zyaramu Entertainment now has more than 1,000 people. After the few people finished chatting, Tanya took the two of them to sit at the main table, and Su Luo was also urged to go on stage to speak. Of course, Su Luo did not go on stage. After all, he and Yi Zyaramu did not actually hold positions in Zyaramu, so it was Tanya who finally gave the speech. A mix of encouragement and criticism, and plans to increase the pie, the atmosphere immediately became lively, and Tanya took the opportunity to invite everyone to raise a toast, and the annual meeting officially began. Almost everyone was present for this annual meeting. The Zhu Xian Legend crew also started their holiday and would resume filming after the 5th day of the Lunar New Year. Pei Enju returned to South Korea, where they also have the custom of celebrating the New Year. Lu Laipai and Su Chengxuan did not come to the annual meeting. The main reason was that they were performing on the Spring Festival Gala, and it was the last time, so they were still busy rehearsing. Several artists from Yishan culture also participated in the rehearsal of the Spring Festival Gala. It can be said that starting this year, Zyaramu Entertainment officially emerged in the entertainment industry. That night, Su Luo drank too much, and various managers and celebrities came up to toast her one after another. Even though they were drinking red wine, Su Luo inevitably drank too much. Finally, they booked a room at Walton in the central building, and Lu Miao helped Yi Zyaramu send Su Luo back to the room. "Sister Zyaramu, I'll leave first," Lu Miao said to Yi Zyaramu. "Okay, Miao, be careful when you go back. Send me a message when you get home." Yi Zyaramu nodded and reminded Lu Miao. "Well, you go take care of your brother-in-law. I'll leave first." After Lu Miao said that, she opened the door and walked out. As soon as Lu Miao left, Su Luo, who was lying on the bed, immediately opened her eyes. "Liu, you're not drunk?" Yi Zyaramu asked in surprise. "Well, if I didn't pretend to be drunk, I feel like I wouldn't be able to get up today," Su Luo said in a hoarse voice. If the excuse of the annual meeting doesn't work, then she uses Yi Zyaramu's birthday as an excuse and forces him to drink, and there's no way he can avoid it. "You are quite good at acting." Yi Zyaramu patted Su Luo's thigh and said, "Of course I have to, but honey, I'm really out of strength. Honey, give me a hug, I want to take a shower." Su Luo stretched out her hand and said coquettishly, "Nizauka, you're too heavy, I can't move you." Yi Zyaramu muttered unhappily. "Ha ha, wife, I'm really drunk," Su Luo said with his mouth open and breathing heavily. Chapter 288 Yi Zyaramu, I love you. Marry me end. Then let me pour you a glass of water. Yi Zyaramu said, picked up the teacup and poured half a bottle of mineral water into it. When Yi Zyaramu turned around, Su Luo had already fallen asleep, snoring softly. Yi Zyaramu shook his head, slowly took off Su Luo's coat, and then covered him with the quilt. Then, after she finished washing up, she also lay down on the other half of the bed. The next day, Su Luo and Yi Zyaramu got up early and returned to Jinxiu community. Su Luo and Yi Zyaramu, who originally thought they would be very busy, found that everything was basically ready. Parents accompanied their child, and the two of them took a walk in the community. Near dusk, "It's snowing," Yi Zyaramu said softly as she looked at the snowflakes flying in the air. "It's snowing," Su Luo sighed. "Snow is rare in the Magic City," Yi Zyaramu explained. "I can stay with you and watch it all the time." Su Luo hugged Yi Zyaramu from behind and said softly, "Well, but the New Year's Eve dinner is about to start, so we should go back." Yi Zyaramu turned around, hugged Su Luo, and said, "Okay, let's go back." Su Luo let go of her, then held her hand and walked towards home. "Is it cold?" "It's not cold." "Then squat down." "Ah," Yi Zyaramu put his hand into the back of Su Luo's neck. "Haha, come and chase me, come and chase me." Yi Zyaramu smiled. "Tonight, everyone is at Su Siyuan's house, eating the New Year's Eve dinner. My dear relatives, we must have a good drink today no matter what," Su Siyuan said with a smile. Of course, Yi Zhenhu had been waiting for this day for a long time. "Drink less," Sun Tingting pointed at Yi Zhenhu and said angrily. "It's a rare happy day," Yi Zhenhu said with a wry smile. Originally, a few people wanted to take Su Luo with them, but Yi Zyaramu stopped them, saying that he had drunk too much yesterday and would not let him drink. Looking at Yi Zyaramu protecting Su Luo, the whole family laughed. Even Su Zyexil beside her started laughing. Looking at Yi Zyaramu, who was coaxing Su Zyexil, and then looking at Su Siyuan and Yi Zhenhua, who were sitting together clinking glasses. He looked again and saw Sun Yun, who was still serving the dishes, and Sun Tingting and Yi Shuyan, who were chatting, and Yi Zyarachan, who was eating silently and was urged by his uncle to find a girlfriend. At this moment, time seemed to stop, and a warm smile appeared on Su Luo's face. Only then did Su Luo realize that his life had changed so much in just 1 year. With a wife, children, and such a lively New Year's Eve, in the final analysis, this is a warm home. Ha ha ha, well, today is New Year's Eve. Come on, it's time to give out red envelopes. Seeing that the time was almost up, Su Siyuan spoke. As the only few younger generations, they immediately looked at Su Siyuan with a smile. Come here, Zairachan, this is yours, Su Siyuan said, taking out a red envelope and handing it to Yi Zairachan. Thank you, uncle. Yi Zairachan was not polite and immediately took it with both hands. Zio Mu, this is yours. It's tiny. Huh, Dad, where is mine? Su Luo asked puzzledly. Haha, I left yours with Zairamu, Su Siyuan said with a big laugh. Then Yi Zhenhua did the same and distributed red envelopes around, although he also gave Su Luo a red envelope. However, under Yi Zairamu's gaze, Su Luo finally took the initiative to hand over the red envelope. The whole family was happy with the relationship between Su Luo and Yi Zairamu, so naturally they didn't say anything. After dinner, everyone sat in the living room and watched the Spring Festival Gala. Since they lived across the street or downstairs, it didn't matter whether it was too late or not. Just get ready and keep watch together. These two are from our company. Yi Zairamu pointed at Lu Laipai and Su Chengshuan, who were singing, and introduced them. At this time, the dried goods that Su Luo and Yi Zairamu bought some time ago came in handy, including melon seeds, peanuts, and pistachios. Let's count down together, the host on TV shouted. Su Luo pulled Yi Zairamu to the balcony. Open your eyes after the countdown is over, Su Luo said softly. Yi Zairachan saw this scene, pulled his uncle, and pointed to the balcony. 3, 2, 1. The New Year's bell rings. No one cares about the sound from the TV anymore. Yi Zairamu opened her eyes and saw a group of flashing drones in front of her, resembling fireworks. Yi Zairamu covered her mouth and looked at the spectacular scene in front of her. When Yi Zairamu asked emotionally, Su Luo didn't say anything, but gestured for Yi Zairamu to continue watching. The drone keeps changing, forming pictures from time to time. Yi Zairamu then realized that these photos were from the time he and Su Luo first got together until now, and there were even photos of Su Zaixeo. The image lasted for 10 minutes before it exploded, and suddenly formed a few large characters. Yi Zairamu, I love you. Will you marry me? Yi Zairamu couldn't control her tears anymore. After seeing the words, she turned around and found that Su Luo was half kneeling in front of her. Su Luo held a ring in her hand. Yi Zairamu, will you marry me? Su Luo said seriously. Su Luo owed Yi Zairamu a wedding. Pa. At this time, Su Siyuan, Yi Zhenhua, and everyone stood up and applauded. Yi Zairamu nodded heavily and stretched out her hand. Su Luo romantically expresses her love for Yi Zairamu. Drone Matrix, if I were a woman, I would marry her. Hot. With the new year, Su Luo and Yi Zairamu expressed their love, which became a hot topic and became the starting point of the new year. On March 1, Su Luo and Yi Zairamu officially joined the crew and starred in Shanglin Fu, Beautiful Bones, and Shanglin Fu, A Lifetime of Love. At the same time, at the end of the month, The Legend of Zhu Xian completed filming and entered the editing stage. The new project, The Long Night, is seamlessly connected, and the original team is still there. In early September, Su Luo and Yi Zairamu finished filming. At the same time, Su Zaixeo called out Mom for the first time. Afterwards, Su Luo and Yi Zairamu stayed with Su Zaixeo. Just on his first birthday, it was as if his Ren and Du meridians were opened up. He spoke much more fluently, and it was as if he could run suddenly. When drawing lots for her first birthday, Su Zaixeo chose steamed buns first, which made all the adults laugh. Zaixeo, tell Daddy why you chose this, Su Luo asked curiously. It's delicious, Su Zaixeo said with a smile. Yi Zairamu stood beside her, covering her mouth and laughing. The next day, October 28th, Yi Zairamu was wearing a white veil, and Su Luo was wearing a suit. Rich or poor, whether you are willing. I do. Su Luo and Yi Zairamu smiled at each other. Now the groom may kiss your bride. Su Luo hugged Yi Zairamu and slowly moved closer. Dad, don't bully Mom, Su Zaixeo shouted loudly with tears in her eyes in the audience. End of full text.